Chapter 4086. He blocked it. The other party alone had actually blocked the attacks of 5 top-notch experts. It was unbelievable. Is he really a Saint Venerable? Or could it be that the other party's attainments and formations had already reached such a terrifying level? Damn it. Let's join hands. Emoshio roared. Wanjiani too. His expression was cold. I don't believe that you can withstand our attacks. Next, they were going to use their true trump card. However, at this moment, a voice was heard. Stop. Wanjiani, Gu Feng and the others stopped and turned their heads to look at the source of the voice. The surrounding people also turned their heads. In the next moment, they saw Grandmaster Spirit Turtle and 3 minor saints walking towards them. What's going on? Why are these people here? Didn't they break the seal of the Dawnfall Peak? The surrounding people were puzzled. Wanjiani and the others also frowned. Yu Quan smiled and said, Elder, it's great that you're here. Help me take him down. I must get that divine pill. Lin Xian's face turned cold. The others' eyelids twitched. With a Saint Venerable here, they were afraid that they wouldn't be able to get it. However, the Saint Venerable of Great Desolate Mansion frowned and said, Yu Quan, calm down. Don't be rude to Grandmaster. What? Yu Quan was stunned. The surrounding people were also stunned. A Saint Venerable was calling a young man Grandmaster. This scene was really too strange. Lin Xian was stunned. Then he smiled. He knew what the other party was planning. It seemed like the other party had taken the bait. The Saint Venerable of Great Desolate Mansion was called Saint Venerable Huang Ming. He looked at Lin Xian and said with a smile. Lin Xian put on a cold expression and nodded slightly. Saint Venerable Huang Ming was a little unhappy. The other party's attitude was too arrogant, but he didn't say anything. Because this was a critical period. They needed a Grandmaster to help them break the seal of the Dawnfall Peak. Grandmaster Spirit Turtle also walked up and said with a smile, Fellow Taoist, how should I address you? Which sect are you from? Immeasurable Heavenly Venerable. Lin Xian called out his Taoist name again. Grandmaster Spirit Turtle was confused. Which holy city was this Taoist name from? Why didn't he know? Lin Xian said, You wouldn't know where I came from even if I told you. Why don't you tell me what your goal is? What an arrogant person. The Great Master Spirit Turtle was displeased as well. However, they really did need his help right now. So he could only swallow his anger and wait until he deciphered the Dawnfall Peak before settling the score with Chunxi and letting Chunxi know what reverence was. Fellow Taoist, are you here for the Dawnfall Peak? If that's the case, we can work together. You might be skilled in formations, but the Dawnfall Peak is very mysterious and difficult to conquer. It would take a very long time for one person to break the formation. If we join forces, we can break the formation in the shortest time possible. That's right. Fellow Taoists, let's work together. Don't you want to go in? Holy Sovereign Huang Ming also advised from the side. Alright, I can work together with everyone. Lin Xian felt that it was about time and nodded. Really? This is great. Master Spirit Turtle, Sacred Highness Huang Ming, and the others smiled. Master, this way please. They respectfully invited Lin Xian away. Gu Feng, Wanjiani, and the others wore cold expressions. Their elders and sacred highnesses had personally gone on a blind date. They could no longer do anything, let alone take revenge. Therefore they could only endure it. Under the invitation of Master Spirit Turtle and the 3 sacred highnesses, Lin Xian came to the Dawnfall Peak. During this period, he had been recalling the information about the Dawnfall Peak's formation on the map. Soon his lips curled into a smile. He believed that with his strength, he should be able to control it. What do you think, Master? Do you have any ideas? Sacred Highness Huang Ming asked. Lin Xian took a closer look. He already knew what to do, but he had to pretend to be very serious. After a while he said, I do have an idea. Please tell us. These people were excited. Following this, Lin Xian told them his plan as if he was giving advice. Of course, he didn't say what he was hiding. He was waiting to dig a hole for these people to jump into. After hearing what Lin Xian said, the crowd became extremely excited. The reason for that was because what Lin Xian said was true. Even Master Spirit Turtle kept praising him. There was such a way to crack the formation. God, why didn't he think of it before? He looked at Lin Xian and was more and more shocked. This person's attainments in formations were above his. Next, these people began to crack the formation. According to Lin Xian's plan, after about 3 days, the formation was cracked a little. These people became even more excited. After half a month, more and more of the formation was cracked. Finally, the first layer of the formation was cracked. That's great. When the formation was cracked, the surrounding people all cheered. Master Spirit Turtle and the 3 Sacred Highnesses also had smiles on their faces. In less than a month, they had cracked the first layer of the formation. This was much faster than they had imagined. Because according to their original plan, it would take at least 3 months to half a year to crack the first layer. Now, the time had been shortened by too much. Next, it was time to crack the second layer. In other words, Lin Xian really began to dig a hole. Sure enough, after 3 days, these people frowned. In the next moment, they let out a scream. No. Master Spirit Turtle was the first to be alert and wanted to escape. However, he was still entangled by the formation. In an instant he was pulled into the formation. The other 3 Sacred Highnesses were the same. They were trapped by the formation. Lin Xian naturally had no problem, but he also had to pretend to be trapped. Because back then, there were 9 Sacred Highnesses in the first palace. Now only 3 had come. There were still 6 who hadn't appeared. He didn't know if these people would come. Therefore, he had to pretend first to lure out the hidden Sacred Highnesses. Then he would break into the formation. Damn it! How could it be like this? Sacred Highness Huangming roared crazily. Master Spirit Turtle's expression changed drastically. He thought that Lin Xian was setting them up. However, when he saw Lin Xian also enter the formation, he breathed a sigh of relief. He asked, "What's going on?" Lin Xian said, "I don't know. My deciphering should be correct. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to crack the first layer. Presumably, the second layer of the formation had many layers of traps. Don't panic, let me crack it." The others didn't suspect anything. After all, the level of formation that Lin Xian had shown before had already shocked them. Therefore, they all pinned their hopes on Lin Xian. However, Lin Xian didn't plan to crack the formation at all. Instead, he secretly activated the formation. Not long after, the 3 Great Sage Highnesses screamed. They discovered that cracks had appeared on their bodies. Their blood flowed into the formation. Not good, this thing is sucking blood. Chapter 4087. Lin Xian also pretended to be pale. No, my blood is being sucked too. Damn it. These people struggled madly, but it was useless. They were firmly trapped. Elder. Below, the people of the holy city saw this scene and rushed up. Wanjiani Yuquan Emotio. And the others frowned. Elder, what's going on? Are you all right? They were too worried. The Saint Quasi being trapped was a serious blow to them. Don't come over. This formation is too strange. You'll be trapped if you come over. Those holy venerables roared crazily. Wait, with our means, we should be able to break it. Buzz. Buzz. Wanjiani Emotio. And the others retreated and waited anxiously. They could only pin their hopes on the other party now. However, 2 days later, more powerful figures appeared in the void. They were holy venerables. Other holy venerables. That's right, other holy venerables appeared one after another. Great, you're here. Hurry up and save us. White holy venerables exclaimed. The others also said quickly, hurry up and save us. For holy venerables came from the sky. They were shocked when they saw this scene. Are the holy venerables trapped? They didn't act rashly. Instead, they lingered nearby. They studied carefully. What are you waiting for? Hurry up and save us. Huang Ming of the Great Desolate Mansion roared. Why are you panicking? A holy venerables of the Thunder God City said. It's such a dangerous formation. We have to check it carefully. Damn it. These people understood that the other party didn't want to save them. Grandmaster Spirit Turtle and the 3 holy venerables looked gloomy. Lin Xian also frowned. It seemed that these holy venerables had their own schemes. Moreover, only 4 of them came. He didn't know if the other 2 were here. It seemed that he had to think of a way to attract them. He secretly tore open a part of the formation, allowing the thing inside to be released. Sure enough, when the aura and light came out of the formation, the 4 holy venerables were completely stunned. This aura? It must be something left by the Holy King. I must get it. In fact, even the last 2 sacred venerates who had been hiding had appeared. Lin Xian smiled. It seemed like everyone was here. Great Master Spirit Turtle and the others now had hope. With such a treasure, these people would definitely be able to crack the formation. Once the formation was broken, they would be rescued. Sure enough, after the 6 holy venerables discussed, they joined hands and said, "Everyone, please calm down. We will break the formation now." The 6 of them joined forces and attacked non-stop. Although these sacred venerates were not specialized array masters, they had lived for thousands of years. Furthermore, he was knowledgeable and had a certain level of attainment in formations. Moreover, their strength was great. Part of them relied on formations to break through, while the other part relied on brute force to break through. Their might was truly terrifying. However, they still underestimated this formation. When they approached the array formation and were about to completely break it, Lin Xian suddenly attacked. The 6 holy venerates were also pulled into the formation and screamed crazily. What's going on? In the distance, Wang Jianyi, Qin Xiener, and the others also turned pale when they saw this scene. There was no need to even mention the saints around him. This array formation was too strange. They all distanced themselves from it. After the 6 holy venerates entered, they struggled crazily and roared, trying to break free. However, they were suppressed by a force. Otherwise, they felt cracks appear on their bodies. The holy blood in their bodies was being sucked out and absorbed into the array formation. Damn it, the array formation can suck blood. Damn it, could this be the 3000 blood soul array? Finally, Great Master Spirit Turtle screamed in horror. He had been very suspicious before, but now that he saw this scene, he was once again certain. The other holy venerates also screamed crazily when they heard this. The 3000 blood soul array. Then won't we be sucked dry? They were all crazy. Great Master, quickly think of a way. They all looked at Great Master Spirit Turtle. Great Master Spirit Turtle shook his head. I don't know how to break this array formation. What? Those holy venerates were in despair. However, at this moment, Great Master Spirit Turtle looked at Lin Xian. Fellow Taoist, you must have a way. Holy Venerate 100, Holy Venerate Huangming, and the others also came over. You must help us. The others instantly understood that Lin Xian was an expert in formations. So they immediately said, as long as Great Master can save us, I will definitely get whatever you want. Yes, I will give Great Master a Sun-class holy artifact. You only have one, but I will give you 2. Great Master, please help us. Great Master, if you can break the array formation, I will give you half of the things inside. Those holy venerates gritted their teeth. They had started to give him all kinds of benefits. As long as he could break the array formation, they would no longer need him. Therefore, the benefits that they were giving now were all fake. After Lin Xian heard this, he smiled. It's not that I can't, but why should I help you? Because of these things? Sorry, I'm not interested. What's going on? Those holy venerates were stunned. Great Master Spirit Turtle also said, Fellow Taoist, what nonsense are you talking about? Even if you don't like these things, you have to break the array formation. Otherwise, your life will be in danger. Lin Xian laughed out loud when he heard this. My life is in danger? Are you retarded? Who told you that my life is in danger? As he spoke, he stepped out of the formation with a single step. His originally pale complexion also became rosy. How is that possible? The 9 holy venerables were all stunned. The other party was actually completely fine. Furthermore, the other party had actually left the formation in an instant. Great Master, save me. Those people screamed crazily. Great Master Spirit Turtle's pupils constricted. Damn it, this is your trap. You want to trick us. He finally found the key to the problem. Previously, the other party's face was pale, and he was trapped in fear. It was obvious that he was lying to them. That's right. It seems that you are not that stupid. He looked at the 9 holy venerates again and said, As for you, don't expect us to save you. The formation required an extremely strong amount of blood energy to be broken. Your sacred blood is very suitable. What? Was this person targeting them from the very beginning? The expressions of the 9 sacred venerates turned extremely ugly. The other party's target was them. No matter what benefits they promised him, it was useless. Damn brat, who exactly are you? Why did you set us up? Those holy venerates gritted their teeth and asked. Lin Xian smiled. Who am I? I'm afraid you won't be able to figure it out in your lifetime. As for why I set you up, it's very simple. It's because I don't like you. Are you satisfied with this reason? Brat, don't let us out, or we'll tear you to pieces. Yes, I'll skin you alive and pull out your bones so that you can never be reincarnated. Holy Venerate Huangming roared crazily. Oh, I'm so scared. Lin Xian strolled leisurely in the array formation. He came in front of Holy Venerate Huangming. Were you threatening me just now? After saying that, he kicked Holy Venerate Huangming's face. Bang. A low sound was heard. That kick was very painful. Holy Venerate Huangming and Holy Venerate Huangming's heads kept shaking from the kick. The surrounding people were stunned. What is he doing? He's stepping on another Holy Venerate's face. Chapter 4088. All of them were stunned. This was unimaginable. Holy Sovereign Huangming was stunned as well, but he quickly regained his senses and screamed crazily. Damn brat! How dare you touch me? So what? Yours truly will kick you to death. Lin Xian snorted and kicked out again. Bam! 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 Huangming's head shook like a rattle drum. His face was full of shoe prints. These attacks couldn't hurt him. He was a saint sovereign and his defense was super strong. However, these attacks were driving him crazy. This wasn't just slapping his face. This was trampling on his face. He was a saint sovereign. When had he ever been humiliated like this? Damn brat, I'm going to. Before he could finish his words, another kick came flying at him. Lin Xian pressed down hard on the man's face a few times and stuffed his mouth shut. What can you do to me? You're a prisoner now. You'd better say something nice. Beg yours truly or I'll kill you. The surrounding holy venerables were also stunned. Heavens! What kind of person is this? He's too arrogant. Is he not afraid of them coming out to seek revenge? However, no one dared to threaten him anymore. After all, they didn't want their faces to be trampled on. Damn it! Yu Quan! Come and kill him for me! The Saint Sovereign of the Great Desolate Mansion roared. Yu Quan rushed over when he saw this. He wasn't the only one. Wan Jiani, Emocio, and the others flew over as well. Elder, you want to save me? Do you want to come over? Lin Xian turned around and sneered. If you don't want to be trapped in the array, come over. The moment these words came out, all of them stopped. Their faces turned ugly. That's right. This array could trap even Saint Sovereigns, let alone them. Old man, do you think it's possible to ask for help? Lin Xian slapped Holy Venerable Huangming across the face, causing his face to turn red. With a bang, the lower half of his body exploded. He was so angry that his lungs were about to explode. Don't worry, this is just the beginning. Lin Xian secretly controlled the formation to absorb all the sacred blood. He stepped on Saint Huangming's head with one foot and looked at the surrounding Saint Sovereigns. Tell me, what do you plan to use to please me? Hearing that, the other holy venerates nearly went crazy. Holy Sage Huangming was even more furious. Was this guy treating him like a block of wood? Damn it. He gritted his teeth and wanted to roar, but Lin Xian kicked him in the face and shut him up. At the same time, he sat down on the other party's head. You can be a stool for now. Then he looked to these people. If you all do not wish to end up like him, obediently hand over the treasures on your body. Also, I want each of you to recite your cultivation experiences to me, especially your comprehension of the Great Tao. If there was even a little bit less or a little bit more wrong, I can guarantee that your end would be even worse than his. The 8 holy venerates nearly went crazy. Was this robbing them? No one had ever dared to do such a thing. Not only did the other party have designs on their treasures, they even wanted their comprehension of the Great Tao. It was something that they had comprehended after thousands of years of experience and countless battles. It was extremely precious. They could not even bear to give such precious comprehension to their own disciples. But now they wanted to give it to this detestable little Taoist in front of them. What? You're not willing? Lin Xian slapped the face of the Holy Venerate beside him. The Holy Venerate beside him was Holy Venerate White. His face turned red from the slap, and the imprint of 5 palms appeared on his face. Holy Venerate White spat out a mouthful of blood. I'll fight it out with you. He wanted to channel his strength and attack crazily. However, the formation had locked them down firmly. Not to mention counterattacking, they were also bleeding, so there was no way they could fight back. Lin Xian stepped on the other party's face. Old thing, it seems like you're doubting yours truly's words. Since that's the case, I'll let you enjoy this treatment. Lin Xian hated the Holy Venerate of the Great Desolate Mansion the most now. The other party had already been tortured to the point of exploding. Next was Holy Venerate White. He wanted to take advantage of his seniority to attack Lin Xian with his powerful strength. If Lin Xian did not take out the unparalleled token and summon the unparalleled Sage King's Phantom, Lin Xian would be in danger. Now that he had the chance to take revenge, how could he show mercy? Lin Xian used his hands and feet to slap the other party's face. Soon blood flowed everywhere. It was a miserable sight. Next was the Holy Venerate of the Thunder God City and the Thousand Demon City. In short, the elders of the Holy City who had chased after Lin Xian were all tortured. It was worse than killing them. Outside the formation, Yu Quan and Mo Xiu, Wan Jiani, and the others were about to go crazy. This was a high and mighty Holy Venerate who was revered by tens of thousands of people. Now he was being tortured to a pulp. Of course, such attacks could not cause any physical harm to these Holy Venerates. However, their faces were damaged, and their souls were damaged. That was a critical hit. For such a big shot, such torture was worse than death. I'll talk. Don't do it. The remaining few Holy Venerates said hurriedly. We're willing to hand over all our treasures, and we're willing to share our insights. Please stop. Don't torture us. Very good. It seems that the attack from before was very effective. Listen carefully. Lin Xian sat on Holy Venerate Huang Ming's head again, and began to listen. Those Holy Venerates had no choice but to share their comprehensions of the Great Tao. Lin Xian listened carefully, not letting go of any detail. This kind of thing was too precious. It was comprehended through countless battles. If he could obtain it, it would allow him to take fewer detours in his comprehension of the Great Tao. After listening to the Great Tao comprehensions of the 3 Holy Venerates, Lin Xian took a deep breath. Some of the things that he did not understand in the past were suddenly enlightened. It turned out that the Great Tao could be walked in this way. As expected of a Holy Venerate, his understanding of the Great Tao was much stronger than theirs. Alright you guys. Lin Xian looked at Holy Venerate Bai, the Holy Venerates of the Thousand Sword Pavilion, and the others. Those Holy Venerates gritted their teeth. At first, they wanted to fish in troubled waters or make up some nonsense. However, they underestimated Lin Xian's strength. Lin Xian's comprehension of the Great Tao was very deep to begin with. In addition, he had listened to a few Holy Venerates before, so he quickly realized that something was wrong. Immediately, he gave them another round of slaps. These people felt like dying. After that, they did not dare to be rash anymore. Alright, Great Master Spirit Turtle, it's your turn. Tell me about your array formation. Great Master Spirit Turtle's attainments in array formations were indeed very strong, so he wanted to hear about it. The Spirit Turtle Master had no choice but to share his understanding of formations with Lin Xian. Lin Xian then compared his understanding of formations with his own. He silently increased the strength of the array formation. After a round, Lin Xian sat down cross-legged to absorb and digest the knowledge. However, the bodies of those Holy Venerates kept trembling. During this period, they felt that a portion of their holy blood was being sucked away. They had all become weak. If this continued, they would be sucked dry. However, no one dared to say anything. On this day, Lin Xian opened his eyes again. Very good. Are you done with your Great Tao comprehensions? Start handing over the treasures. Chapter 4089. They were all sacred venerables. They had treasures on them. Now that there was a chance, how could Lin Xian let it go? However, he did not want the sacred artifact. These sacred venerables had powerful souls, and the sacred artifact had been with them for thousands of years. It was much more difficult to erase the soul imprint on it. He did not have the time now. Therefore, his target was all kinds of heavenly treasures, spirit pills, and miraculous cultivation techniques. There was no other way. These sacred venerables were meat on the chopping block. They had even handed over their great Tao comprehension, so it was impossible for them to resist. Therefore Lin Xian plundered a lot of good things from them. These sacred venerables were in so much pain that tears flowed out. In the distance, Wang Jianyi, Mo Xiu, and the others saw this scene, and their eyes almost popped out. Compared to the sacred venerables, their wealth was still a little lacking. Now the other party had robbed the 9th great sage's treasure. This was a shocking amount of wealth. However, they could only be jealous and did not dare to make a move. With this formation, the other party was simply an invincible existence. Damn it, who the hell is this kid? Where did he come from? Why had they never heard of him before? These people's eyes flickered as they began to think. Even the sacred venerables were gnashing their teeth. Among them, Great Master Spirit Turtle thought of a person. Could it be that kid? What shocked him in terms of formations was that he had met a person before, and that was Lin Xian. However, it was impossible. No matter how strong Lin Xian was, he could not be that strong. He dared to rob the 9th great sage. He shook his head and suppressed this thought because he really could not accept it. Lin Xian had obtained a heart from the 1,000 Demon City sacred venerables. It was a powerful heart with vigorous vitality. Lin Xian guessed that it should be the heart of a sacred venerate. It contained powerful energy. If he continued to absorb it, he could increase his vitality and strengthen his physique. Although it was surrounded by demonic qi and he might not be able to use it, he could leave it for the dark red divine dragon or the north demon. Thinking of this, he put it away with satisfaction. Then, he received another treasure from the sacred venerate in the Thunder God City. It was a bronze cauldron with some liquid inside. It was lightning spirit liquid. It was a very precious lightning Tao treasure. Lin Xian was very satisfied with this. When it was the 10,000 Swords Pavilion's turn, he was so happy that he almost jumped up in excitement. That was because he had obtained the cultivation method of the 10,000 swords returned to origin from this holy venerate. No, I can't give this to you. Wanjiang's holy venerables screamed crazily. If you want to cultivate, you will be chased to the 9th heaven and 10th earth. Shut up. Lin Xian kicked him in the face. The face of the myriad swords pavilion's saint was covered with shoe prints. The saint screamed crazily. You will regret it if you touch this thing. This was the peerless secret technique of their sword pavilion, so how could it possibly be leaked out? Humph, if you want to blame someone, blame yourself for bringing that thing with you. Otherwise, how could I have possibly obtained it? After Lin Xian took it, a cold smile appeared on his face. Great, he had already seen many 10,000 swords return to origin. Previously, he had seen the 7 swords of Heavenly Mountain, Sword Dawn, and then 10,000 swords. Every single one of them displayed extremely powerful strength. This 10,000 swords return to origin made him very excited. He knew that it was very difficult to obtain such a secret technique, but he did not expect to obtain it now. The 10,000 swords pavilion's holy venerables wanted to die. How could he have known that he would be trapped? One had to know that he was a holy venerables, so he was very powerful. Who would dare to set up a trap to trap him? Even if he was trapped, would he dare to learn the 10,000 swords return to origin? Once he learned it, he would be hunted down by the entire 10,000 swords pavilion. Lin Xian did not care at all. If he did not learn it, would these people not kill him? What a joke. Only by constantly increasing one's strength could one survive in such a chaotic world. Therefore, he took the 10,000 swords return to origin without hesitation. Then he looked at Great Master Spirit Turtle. It's your turn. What are you going to give me in exchange? If it's not good, don't blame me for being rude. Indeed, those 9 people were holy venerables, but Great Master Spirit Turtle was only one. He was a middle minor saint, so the treasures in his hands were definitely not as good as those holy venerables. Great Master Spirit Turtle's scalp went numb. He thought for a while, then gritted his teeth and said, I have an ancient scroll. There is a formation recorded on it that will definitely satisfy you. Oh, Lin Xian took out a scroll from the other party's storage ring. It was indeed very ancient. After opening it, his eyes lit up. Heaven-breaking formation Tao. This was a type of formation. Furthermore, it was a type of offensive formation. With its tyrannical might, it could break through other formations. No wonder Great Master Spirit Turtle was so powerful that he dared to come to such a dangerous place like the Moon Mirror Lake alone. And he even succeeded. It turned out that he was using the heaven-breaking formation Tao. This was also an incredible treasure. If he went to other places after cultivating it, the speed and efficiency of breaking the array formations would be much faster. Thinking of this, Lin Xian nodded his head in satisfaction. Very good. This was a great harvest. He had obtained all kinds of treasures, and they were all top-notch ones. Among them, the ones that made him the happiest were the sect-returning swords and the heaven-breaking formation Tao. As for the other treasures, he could cultivate them or give them to Murong Qingcheng, the dark red divine dragon, and the others. Damn brat, we've given you everything. Can you let us go now? Great Master Huangming gritted his teeth and said. The others also asked one after another. Lin Xian said, I can let you go, but not now. Once the formation has sucked enough of your blood, I'll let you go. What? Hearing this, these people went crazy. Damn brat, you went back on your words. Damn it, I'll never forgive you. Lin Xian snorted coldly. How did I go back on my words? I said, hand over the treasures and I won't torture you. But when did I say I'll let you go? Moreover, I didn't say I won't let you go. It's just that we didn't agree on the time. I didn't say I'll let you go immediately. Those holy venerables were so angry that they vomited blood and roared. In the end, they were slapped a few more times. The other holy venerables also became obedient. They could only grit their teeth. Damn it, don't let us out or you'll be dead. Lin Xian couldn't be bothered with them. During this period of time, he had been torturing these holy venerables every day. It was very satisfying, and the resentment in his heart had also been vented. Moreover, these holy venerables had coarse skin and thick flesh. Their defense was very strong. They had even beaten his arm until it was numb, so he couldn't be bothered to torture them. It was better to study the great Tao insights and various treasures that he had obtained to improve himself. As for the revenge of these holy venerables, what a joke. He wasn't afraid here. The formations here could all be used by him. Therefore he wasn't worried. Lin Xian came to the side, sat down cross-legged, and took a deep breath. He first took out the crimson pill and swallowed it. This was a pill that could strengthen one's soul. It was very precious and rare. Chapter 4090. After swallowing it, Lin Xian felt that his soul was nourished. He completely absorbed the medicinal power. 5 days later he opened his eyes. It was indeed a good thing. He felt that his soul was stronger than before. This way the power of his eye technique would also increase. Lin Xian's soul was originally very strong. In the past, his eye technique was equivalent to a late small saint. Now it was close to that of a holy venerable. This had become one of his trump cards. Next he relied on his strong soul to multitask. He even created several clones and began to cultivate and organize different things. Some clones comprehended the Great Tao Law, while others read the Return to Origin scrolls. Some disappeared directly. In fact, they entered the Great Sage Pagoda to deal with some things, such as the Heavenly Dipper Sword. Previously, Lin Xian had obtained a set of battle swords from the Golden Crow clan's 6th prince. He didn't have time to refine it. Now he had to deal with it properly. If this battle sword was combined with his sword technique, it would be extremely powerful. The surrounding people were speechless when they saw Lin Xian creating many clones to do different things. At first, they were disdainful. What a joke. This would definitely cause chi deviation. People like Wang Jiani could create clones, but very few people did so. That was because at this level, cultivation was truly too difficult. Who didn't give it their all? However, Lin Xian could create clones. If he scattered his energy like this, he was destined to achieve nothing. They didn't know that Lin Xian's soul was far stronger than theirs. That was why they dared to do so. Time passed slowly. Wang Jiani and the others didn't dare to approach. However, the 9 great sage lords and the spirit turtle grandmaster screamed every day. They became more and more terrified towards the end. Almost half of their blood had been taken away. At this moment, Their bodies were withered and their faces were pale. They looked like mummies. If this continued, they would really die. After another half a month, only 1/5 of their blood was left in their bodies. These people were completely terrified. They started to beg for mercy. However, Lin Xian didn't care at all. He focused on his own things. Finally, one day, with a boom, the entire formation shattered like a mirror, emitting cracking sounds. What's going on? What happened? Wang Jianyi, Emoshio, and the others were extremely anxious. Every day, they would be observing the elder's condition. The changes that happened in the past day made them even more nervous. Gu Feng said. The formation seemed to have been activated. What? Really? Wang Jianyi, Emoshio Chuan, and the others' expressions changed drastically. Had their elders been saved? Lin Xian also opened his eyes and recalled his clones. His eyes flickered. Had it finally opened? To be honest, he was also a little excited. Because Dawnfall Peak really did have a guarantee. The Great Sage and the Great Master Spirit Turtle were originally in despair, but the activation of the formation gave them hope once more. Great, they were finally reborn. What about that little Taoist? They wanted to tear him to shreds. Following the destruction of the spirit formation, the bodies of those people began to loosen. Then they finally rushed out. Ah! Furious roars resounded throughout the world as they emitted terrifying killing intent. Die brat! At the same time, a cold voice sounded. Disciples of the holy city, listen up. Kill this little Taoist, and you will be heavily rewarded. Kill. Those people in the distance, upon receiving the order, all of their eyes turned red as they quickly charged over. The terrifying killing intent shook the heavens and the earth. One by one, figures dashed toward Lin Xian at high speed. Lin Xian stood there, but he didn't care at all. Do you want to die? Oh, fulfill your wishes. He raised his hand and slapped forward. He had the 9 Yang divine body, but in order to hide his identity, he didn't let the golden light shine. However, this didn't mean that his strength had weakened. The saints at the front were instantly sent flying. Some of them directly exploded, while others had half of their bodies shattered. All kinds of screams sounded. Lin Xian was like slapping flies, instantly sending dozens of figures flying. The people behind him also stopped and sucked in a breath of cold air. Wasn't this power a little too strong? Step back. Wang Jianyi and the others rushed forward. Die brat. Without the formation, let's see how you can still be arrogant. They gritted their teeth. As soon as Wang Jianyi attacked, the terrifying sword energy lit up the sky. Emoshio and the others also attacked. The Yellow Springs diagram and various divine abilities were used. Who said that I don't have the formation? Countless formations lit up under her feet, blocking all the attacks. Damn it! Let me do it! The 9 great sage in the sky roared crazily. We have to deal with this brat personally. Wang Jianyi and the others retreated, and the 9 great sage rushed forward. They were really angry. How much torture had they suffered these days? They wanted to return it 1,000 times, no 10,000 times. Old things, do you want to be trapped? Lin Xian stomped his foot again, and the broken formation shone brightly once more. There seemed to be endless chains rushing over. When the 9 holy venerables saw this scene, they were so frightened that they screamed crazily and fled like dogs. Ha 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 ha. Lin Xian laughed out loud. How dare you call yourselves holy venerates with such cowardice? How laughable. His body passed through the formation and entered the Dawnfall Peak. Damn it. Damn it. The 9 great sages' face turned green. The formation was broken. Just now, the other party was just using a trick to scare them. Let's go. We can't let that brat succeed. The 9 great sage rushed in. Great Master Spirit Turtle's face was cold. He also moved quickly. The heaven-breaking formation Tao must not be leaked. Previously, he handed it over to save his life. Now that he was free, he wanted to take back the treasure. He was not the only one who had such thoughts. The 10,000 Swords Pavilion's saint, the Thunder God City's saint, and the others all wanted to capture the other party and take back the treasure. Let's go to the back. Wang Jianyi and the others also rushed in. After spending so much effort to break the Dawnfall Peak, there must be something inside. These people also rushed in. After entering, they found that there was an independent space inside. This Green Mountain world was too magical. There was actually a world within a world. This place was even more extraordinary. They could feel the aura of treasures. Look, what's that? Heavens, that's an immortal palace. Someone screamed. He saw that not far away, there were immortal palaces that fell heavily, as if they were the 9 heavens. Is that the Divine Medicine Institute? Someone else exclaimed. They found that on the other side, there was a spiritual herb garden. Each spiritual herb was tens of thousands of years old. The multicolored light and great Tao above were too terrifying, making one's heart flutter. What's that? Elixir Pavilion? There were countless medicinal pills floating in the air. Yu Quan looked to the other side, and his heart trembled. Wan Jianyi stared at a pagoda. There were countless swords circling inside. Chapter 4091. A Peerless Divine Sword. His hands were trembling. As a swordsman, how could he not be moved when he saw such a treasured sword? For a moment, everyone seemed to have discovered an incredible treasure. Even the 9 Saint Venerables and the Spirit Turtle Grandmaster stopped chasing. Instead, they stood in the void, their eyes filled with a fiery red color. Heavens, is that the Thunder God's battle robe? The sacred venerate of Thunder God City found a battle robe in front of him. The aura of thunder on it made him so happy that he almost fainted. The people of Demon City were the first to scream. The True Dragon Divine Medicine. I see the True Dragon Divine Medicine. These sacred venerates also went crazy. Lin Xian also stopped. He was the first to enter, so he was also the first to discover it. However, what he saw was a throne. It floated above the 9 heavens and emitted endless light. It was as if sitting on it could surpass all the worlds in the universe. He was too tempted. It was as if the great emperor realm that he dreamed of could be realized as long as he sat on this throne. He even couldn't help but want to walk forward. However, before he could take a few steps, the people behind him rushed in. Those screams and roars made him stop in his tracks. Lin Xian turned his head and looked behind him. He saw countless people. Their eyes were red, and they were all infatuated. He frowned. He felt that something was wrong. But what was wrong with it? He couldn't tell. He observed carefully. Suddenly, his pupils shrank to the size of needles, because he found that some people were obviously looking in one direction. However, the roars were all different. For example, in the east, some people saw a spiritual herb garden, while others saw a pagoda. Some people even saw a pill furnace. What was going on? Lin Xian frowned. He activated the heavenly secret divine eyes and looked around. In the next moment, he found that the scene he saw became hazy. It was like a light smoke that would dissipate at any time. What was going on? It wasn't enough. Lin Xian crazily operated his soul and activated the heavenly secret divine eyes to the extreme. Suddenly, an extremely terrifying golden light burst out from his eyes. It was as if a pair of divine eyes could pierce through the 9 heavens. In the next moment, he discovered that the emperor's throne hanging above the 9 heavens had disappeared. It drifted away like green smoke, leaving nothing behind. The surrounding spirit herb gardens and pagodas had all disappeared. Fantasy? Was this all just a fantasy? Lin Xian took 2 steps back, cold sweat trickling down his back. It was too dangerous. He had been deceived just now. If it weren't for the fact that there were too many people here and he was agitated, he would have fallen into the trap of the illusion. He would never be able to escape in this lifetime. Who was this? Set it up. Was it the Qingshan Saint King? As expected of the Sage King. His means were too terrifying. Even the Lord of the 9th Great Sage could not find any flaws. It was only because he possessed the heavenly secret god eyes that he was able to see through everything. At this moment, those people roared, "Charge! Hurry up and grab it!" They rushed in all directions. "This is the spirit herb garden that I have my eyes on," someone roared, unleashing a terrifying thunder that covered the entire area. "What spirit herb garden? This is an elixir pavilion. Are you trying to snatch my elixir pills?" On the other side, terrifying demonic beasts rushed over, not retreating at all. These people's eyes were all red. Even Wan Jianyi rushed towards the pagoda that hid the countless divine swords. Gu Feng was also heading towards the same target. "Scram! You are not a swordsman. What are you doing here?" Wang Jianyi instantly unleashed countless sword qi, cutting off the other party's path. However, Gu Feng appeared and disappeared mysteriously. What swordsman? This is clearly an astral pagoda that contains the secrets of the universe. It is very helpful to spatial experts like me. Are you trying to stop me? The two of them did not agree and started fighting. It was not just the ordinary sages. The geniuses on the sage ranking also entered the illusion. They did not know at all. They just fought crazily. It was not just them. The holy venerate's eyes also burst out with a terrifying light. Scram, all of you. A pair of thunder wings appeared on the back of the thunder god holy venerate. They covered the sky and the sun. As they flapped gently, endless lightning illuminated the 9 heavens. Wherever they passed, those who were close to them were all sent flying. Although these holy venerates only had 1/5 of their sacred blood left, and their strength was greatly reduced, they were still holy venerates. No matter how weak they were not people that others could fight against. The surrounding sages all retreated. They could not stop them. However, the other holy venerates also made their move. Endless purple light appeared on holy venerate White's body. He transformed into a purple palace. It was like an immortal palace, and he charged over. Scram, do you think that I have my eyes on the lightning treasure? What lightning treasure? It is obviously more useful to me. These holy venerates also went crazy and started killing. In an instant, a huge battle broke out. No one was spared. Even the great master spirit turtle charged in a certain direction like a madman. Qin Xiener, who usually charmed everyone, was also doing the same now. However, her eyes were also red. She was searching for the treasure. The only one who was still normal was Lin Xian. Lin Xian looked at the crazy battle around him. His body was trembling. Isn't it too terrifying? This was the illusion set up by the Green Mountain Sage King. It made the people who entered fight crazily. In the end, these people didn't get anything. Moreover, they would kill each other and die together. Fortunately, he had the heavenly secret divine eye and saw through all of this. Otherwise, the consequences would be unimaginable. However, he was sober, but the others were all crazy. Finally, someone came to his side. Little Taoist Scram. Are you trying to snatch my things? Emoshio had an endless army of skeletons above and below him. It was very terrifying. Kill. The Yellow Springs diagram rotated and turned into a Yellow Springs python that charged over. At the same time, the million-strong army of skeletons roared crazily. The sky trembled and the earth shattered. This terrifying Ubijna drowned Lin Xian. Lin Xian snorted coldly. Scram. The power in his body erupted and swept out. With one sword, iron chains crossed the river. With him as the center, it spread in all directions. The army of skeletons was directly cut in half when they encountered such a terrifying sword wave. They scattered on the ground. At this moment, the Yellow Springs diagram that had turned into a golden python had already arrived in front of Lin Xian. It wrapped around him in an overwhelming manner. Lin Xian felt as if his blood and qi were roiling under the immense killing force. Go to hell. Without the formation, you're nothing. Emoshio laughed sinisterly. At this moment, he was like the god of death from the netherworld. Boom. Lin Xian snorted coldly. You want to kill me with this little attack? What a joke. So what if he didn't have the formation? He was now on the pilgrim list. Yuquan was defeated by him. He was also not afraid of Emoshio. Open. His body swept out. The Yellow Springs python's body kept twisting, and then exploded. Endless Yellow Springs water scattered in all directions. Those who touched it screamed crazily. Their bodies quickly decomposed and melted. Lin Xian stepped on the ground. You can actually block my Yellow Springs diagram. However, don't think of snatching my treasure. What treasure? Lin Xian's face was cold. He realized that although he was sober, these people were crazy. Chapter 4092. Do you really think you can block my Yellow Spring? Let me show you what the real Yellow Spring is. At this moment, Emoshio attacked with all his strength. He was wearing the Yellow Spring scroll and holding the devil trident in his hand. He looked like a death god from hell, extremely powerful. The Yellow Spring sea was filled with a nauseating smell. The shattered skeletal army came back to life and quickly regrouped. The million skeletal army formed a terrifying skeletal creature. A total of 5 bone creatures were formed. They rushed over together. Lin Xian snorted coldly. The energy in his body burst out like an ocean, shaking the entire world. Boom. With a single slap, it was like 100,000 mountains, sending the surrounding sages flying. Heavens, this little Taoist is too strong. Their red eyes were filled with fear. Previously, they only knew that the other party's array was powerful. But now, it seemed that it wasn't just an array. The other party's strength was also top-notch. Lin Xian and Emoshio fought fiercely. The two were evenly matched. They fought from the east to the west, south to the north. At this moment, a roar was heard. Little Taoist, you want to snatch my divine sword? Go to hell. It turned out that they were fighting near the myriad sword intent. Wang Jianyi thought that the other party was here to snatch the treasure, so he attacked instantly. Terrifying sword chi illuminated the sky. He kept attacking Lin Xian and Emoshio. The two could only defend quickly. Emoshio's yellow spring scroll swallowed the sword chi. Lin Xian's body swayed, dodging the sword chi. Those that couldn't dodge were sent flying by his fists. One had to admit that Wang Jianyi was too strong. He was much stronger than Yu Quan. He was a late minor saint. Lin Xian's entire arm went numb after he was sent flying. It seemed that even though they were all on the pilgrim roll, there was still a huge gap between each member. Buzz. At this moment, Gufeng suddenly appeared behind Lin Xian and pointed at him. Lin Xian felt his hair stand on end. Not good. This Gufeng is here too. He also attacked me. He instantly activated the void escape and disappeared into the void. However, ancient wind also disappeared. When he reappeared, he was still stuck to Lin Xian. You won't be able to escape. I know my Gu clan's abilities better than you do. Gufeng was similarly powerful, appearing and disappearing unpredictably. Fortunately, Wang Jianyi was holding back Gufeng, preventing him from using his full power. Otherwise, Lin Xian would really be in danger. However, even with that being the case, he was still pulled into the vortex. A chaotic battle broke out between the 4 of them. Every strike was extremely terrifying. If one was slightly weaker, they would have died under this mystique. Humph! Lin Xian was also enraged. He was still a little Taoist, so there were some methods that he couldn't use. However, he would not sit still and wait for death. His soul had gone through a baptism and become stronger, so it was suitable for him to use eye techniques at this moment. In his eyes, a terrifying light blade flew out. It was a soul attack. In an instant, Wang Jianyi, Gufeng, and the rest felt the impact. They clutched their heads and screamed. Lin Xian took the opportunity to pull away. His face was cold. To be honest, he didn't want to use his soul mystique, because he was afraid that it would wake these people up. However, it seemed that he was worrying too much. Those people's faces were distorted. You dare to use a soul attack on me? Damn it. I didn't expect you to have such a method. They were not prepared previously and suffered a huge loss. Even Gufeng's expression was ugly. He knew spatial mystique, but the soul attack still injured him. This made him feel extremely humiliated. Kid, I held back previously, so don't blame me for not being polite now. These 3 people were filled with monstrous killing intent. Lin Xian was surprised. He didn't expect that his soul attack couldn't wake these people up in the dream. Wasn't this dream too terrifying? The 3 of them attacked crazily. Lin Xian activated the void escape and kept dodging. At the same time, his soul attack also swept out crazily. A great battle broke out, and it was soul-stirring. Many of the people in the surroundings turned their heads, and were stunned when they saw this scene. Heavens, was that little Taoist so strong? Get lost. At this moment, an even more terrifying sword light rushed over. It turned out to be the sword Venerable from the 10,000 Swords Pavilion. His sword chi was even more terrifying than Wang Jianyi's. Gufeng's pupils shrank, and he instantly activated his spatial mystique to escape. Wang Jianyi used the 10,000 Swords Convergence to dodge. The demonic cultivator also used the underworld map to quickly retreat. Lin Xian saw this scene, and also dodged crazily. However, the saint from the 10,000 Swords Pavilion had his eyes on him and chased after him crazily. Lin Xian's face was cold. Damn old thing. He quickly searched for information on the map in his mind. He rushed in a certain direction. Kid, you can't escape. I will tear you into pieces. Lin Xian didn't say a word. He used his speed to the extreme and arrived at that place. He stomped the ground and the array around him was reactivated, blocking the saint from the 10,000 swords pavilion. The saint roared crazily and counterattacked. However, he couldn't open the array at all. At the same time, the other saint charged over. It was a crazy battle. Gradually someone was injured. Someone died. And blood dyed the 9th level red. Heaven and earth sank. Those people had completely gone crazy. Lin Xian was shocked when he saw this scene. He searched for information on the map, and used the array to escape underground and quickly left. He walked in another direction, which was the direction of the 9th heaven. There were endless palaces there, like immortal palaces. He rushed to that place and climbed up. When the people outside saw the scene, they shouted crazily, "Kill him!" The saint from the 10,000 swords pavilion in the demon city rushed over. "Damn kid, how dare you? Get down. This is not a place where you can touch." These saint venerables had all gone crazy. Many of them rushed over. They fought and attacked Lin Xian at the same time. Lin Xian's face was cold. He climbed up to the 9th heaven, and directly pushed open the door of the 9th heaven. With a boom, a desolate aura flowed out and blew on Lin Xian's body, making a thunderous sound. Damn it! The eyes of those saint venerables turned red, and they attacked without caring about anything. They wanted to ascend to the 9th heaven. At this moment, a sigh was heard from the 9th heaven. What's the point of fighting in my dream? Boom, boom, boom. As the wind and clouds changed, the surrounding saint venerables were all sent flying. As for the other saints, they all retreated and vomited blood. Their faces were filled with horror. Who was it? Who was it? Could it be the Green Mountain Saint King? They were bewildered. Lin Xian was also surprised. He could come here because of the information on the map. Originally, he just wanted to give it a try. He didn't expect it to cause such a change. In the next moment, he saw a hazy figure floating out of the palace of the 9th heaven. This person was abnormally hazy, as if he was illuminated by green smoke. However, when he saw that face, Lin Xian's body trembled. That face was so familiar. Where had he seen it before? Chapter 4093. Suddenly, his pupils constricted. This face was too similar to the young master of the Green Mountain clan. However, this was the face of a mature man, while the young master was only an 8 or 9-year-old child. However, the two of them looked exactly the same. Then he thought of the map that the young master had given him, which allowed him to be like a fish in water here. Lin Xian's heart pounded wildly in pain. Could there be a connection between the two? He thought of a possibility. What shocked him even more was the other party's other words. What did he mean by fighting in his dream? Was this the other party's dream? He was not sure, and neither were the people around him. They exclaimed. The 9th great sage was also facing a great enemy. Was this the Green Mountain Sacred King? He was just a remnant soul. There was nothing to fear. Sigh. The Green Mountain Sacred King sighed. He did not make a move. Instead, he said faintly, an eternal dream had finally come to naught. As his voice fell, the surrounding spiritual herb gardens, pill pavilions, divine swords, and all kinds of treasures shattered and disappeared. The people around him screamed crazily, "My treasure! My treasured sword!" These people had all gone crazy. They rushed into the distance. In the end, they only caught a wisp of green smoke. One by one, they screamed at the sky and vomited blood. The 9th great sage also vomited blood nonstop. His face was filled with fear. Dream. They had been in an illusion all this time. Could this really be the other party's dream? Was this the power of a sacred king? The difference was too great. They fought desperately, but in the end, they were only in the other party's dream. No. I can't accept this. Sacred King Huangming screamed. The sacred king of the 10,000 swords pavilion was the same. His eyes were filled with killing intent. So what if it was a dream? That little Taoist priest had to be killed. A sword soared into the air. It was extremely domineering. Lin Xian felt his hair stand on end. This sword was too powerful. It was simply a fatal blow. At this moment, the Green Mountain Sacred King made his move. With a light slap, he shattered the sword. Then, he grabbed the Saint of the Myriad Swords pavilion with a forceful grab. The Sacred King's body tensed up. His face was distorted, and his eyes were filled with fear. He was too powerful. He could not even block a single move. It's impossible. It must be because I lost too much blood. Yes, he was just a remnant soul. The Sacred Venerate of the 10,000 Swords Pavilion roared. The other Sacred Venerates were also drooling. The Qingshan Sacred King's phantom said, "You're not welcome in my dream." After saying those words, he waved his hand and tossed the other party away. The void cracked open and swallowed the 10,000 Swords Pavilion's Saint Venerable. The screams of the Holy Venerable disappeared. The other Sacred Venerables also felt their scalps go numb. "You're not welcome in my dream either." Right after Xiaochen spoke, he tossed out the 8 Holy Venerates. The incomparably terrifying Holy Venerables, supreme existences, were as insignificant as ants before this illusion. They instantly disappeared without a trace. Then, the phantom of the Sage King slowly disappeared. Everyone was stunned. Even Lin Xian sucked in a breath of cold air. Although there was no threat from the Sacred Master, he still felt very strange. Was this a dream or was it real? The surrounding people were also stunned. They realized that many of the treasures in their eyes had disappeared, but the 9 heavens in front of them had not disappeared. At this moment, Lin Xian was standing in the 9 heavens. "Damn it! Kill that kid!" Many people roared. "Kill!" Those people quickly rushed over. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He turned around and entered the palace in front of him. Then the palace's gate slowly closed. Crack! 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 Everyone's attacks hit the 9 heavens, causing a deafening explosion. However, it did not have any effect at all. Not even a trace of a wave was raised. Damn it! Yu Quan and Mo Xiu, and the others gritted their teeth. Wang Jiani also looked unwilling. Gu Feng's eyes flickered. "I don't believe there's only one treasure in this place. Let's go find other places." One after another, they began to search in all directions. At the same time, outside the Dawnfall Peak, some figures were standing. The one standing at the front was Chao Tiansheng. The followers beside him asked, "Young master, are we not going in?" Chao Tiansheng shook his head. "We're not going in. It's like a dream. Let's go to other places." After saying that, he actually left with his followers. If the people inside heard this, they would definitely be stunned. Chao Tiansheng seemed to have seen through everything. Most people came to the Dawnfall Peak. Of course, not all of them. For example, Chao Tiansheng came and left. At the same time, Murong Qingqing, Li Hongxiu, and the others were crazily plundering resources and treasures. In the Dawnfall Peak, Wang Jiani and the others were crazily searching. Whenever there was a little harvest, they would fight. This time, the Holy King's phantom did not appear again. The gate of the 9 Heavens Palace was tightly shut. After Lin Xian entered, he looked around curiously. He wanted to find the phantom of the Qingshan Holy King, but he could not find it at all. The surroundings were a little dark. Not long after he entered, he felt a little sleepy. He even yawned. "What's going on? Why do I feel like sleeping so much?" Lin Xian wanted to hold it in, but the drowsiness overcame him, and he fell asleep on the ground. He had a very, very long dream. In the dream, he became a peerless expert and swept across the world. Not only that, he was also chased by countless people and became the enemy of the world. This dream was bizarre. There were some things that he had never seen before, and some enemies that he had never thought of. He did not know how long this dream lasted. Outside, those people in the Dawnfall Peak fought, but they did not find anything, so Wang Jiani and the others came out. They decided to search outside. However, the east and north had already been searched by Murong Qingqing and Xinjingqiu. Lin Xian and the others had already searched the south. Only the west was left. These people rushed over and fought until the sky darkened. Finally, it seemed that the time was up. These people were all teleported out. Many people in the Qingshan city were waiting. To be honest, they were very curious. Especially when the 9th great sage was thrown out. These people's expressions were extremely strange. Even the people of the Qingshan clan were stunned. Only the Qingshan clan leader's eyes flickered, as if he was not surprised by this. Damn it! After those holy venerables came out, they all roared at the sky. Open it quickly. We want to enter the Qingshan world. These people roared crazily. The Qingshan clan leader shook his head. It could only be opened once. Everyone should wait for the next time. Those people were so angry that they vomited blood. How hateful. There were still people they wanted to kill inside. They did not believe that he would not come out. These people began to wait patiently. The people in the surroundings whispered among themselves. Some of the strong cultivators could sense that the 9 sacred sages were not in good condition. At least, his chi and blood were somewhat withered. They did not know what had happened to make the 9th great sage suffer. Time slowly passed, and many people were teleported out. When Mo Xiao Yuquan and the others were teleported out, more and more screams sounded. Finally, Murong Qingqing and Li Hongxiu were teleported out. Everyone seemed to have come out. Chapter 4094. Damn it, there was no such person. How was that possible? Could it be that the little Taoist was still inside? These people were all stunned. Murong Qingqing and Li Hongxiu were also looking around. Where was Brother Xian? Murong Qingqing was anxious, and Li Hongxiu was frowning. She had not come out yet. The surrounding people were also whispering. Did Lin Wuti die inside? That was impossible. What do you know? Let me tell you, something big has happened. Soon the news spread. Are you saying that Lin Wuti defeated Secluded Spring? Heavens! Was he already on the pilgrim list? The news was like a clap of thunder, shocking the surrounding experts. This was really an earth-shattering news. To be honest, they knew that some of the young geniuses were going to make it to the pilgrim list, but they did not expect it to be so fast. And the first to succeed was Lin Wuti. But where was he now? Could it be that he had been killed by the Lord? Many people were whispering. The leader of the Green Hill tribe also looked at the 9th great sage. Do you know where young Master Lin is? The sage asked. How would we know about that kid? Could it be that you're suspecting that we've made a move? Why would we attack a young junior? Many people's mouths twitched when they heard this. They would not believe it even if they were beaten to death, because the sage of the great desolate mansion had indeed attacked. It was just that he did not succeed. They waited anxiously, but found that Lin Xian had not come out. What was going on? Murong Qingqing wanted to go back again, but she was told that she could not go back. They could only wait here. He might have died inside. Yu Quan revealed a sinister smile. He desperately wanted Lin Xian to die. A person with his personality was too arrogant. It was impossible for him to go far. Wan Jiani also snorted. Many people breathed a sigh of relief. Lin Xian's strength had frightened them. It was good that he had died. Impossible. How could young Master Lin die? Qingwei and the others shook their heads in disbelief. Previously, Lin Xian had helped them a lot. They didn't want such a person to fall. Clan leader, let's wait a little longer. Don't close the Green Mountain world yet. The leader of the Green Mountain clan nodded. He didn't want anything to happen to him inside. Just like that, everyone waited for another half a month. As a result, many people left. They felt that Lin Xian would never come out again. At the same time, in the 9th Heaven Palace of the Sunset Peak, Lin Xian slowly opened his eyes. His surroundings were still dark. He rubbed his head and felt that he could not differentiate between dream and reality because he had a very, very long dream. Dreaming for 1,000 years. What day is it today? Lin Xian pushed open the door of the palace and walked out. He found that there was no one around. Did they all leave? Lin Xian also walked out. He was about to leave. However, at this moment he was stunned. My cultivation. He carefully sensed, and in the next moment his eyes widened. Was he at the middle stage of the 6th heaven? Now he had broken through again. From the initial stage of the small saint to the middle stage. This was too unbelievable. He just had a dream and his cultivation broke through? Could it be that a few hundred years had passed? Lin Xian frowned. He didn't know because no one could tell him. Thinking about this, he couldn't wait to go back. He wanted to find someone to ask how long had passed. When he came out of the Sunset Peak, he found that the Green Mountain world was empty. There were some natives of the Green Mountain clan, and some ordinary people. There were no more powerful saints like him. At this moment he felt a huge force pushing him out. When he appeared again, he found that he had already left the Green Mountain world. Brother Xian, you finally came out. Murong Qingqing pounced and threw herself into Lin Xian's arms. She was about to cry. Li Hongxiu also came up. What did he experience? Why did he come out so late? On the other side, Qing Shangyue and the others also came. Lin Xian asked, "How long has it been? Kid, are you stupid? You came out 2 months later than us. It's only been 2 months." Lin Xian was shocked. The news spread out in an instant, and countless figures rushed over. "You're not dead yet." After Yu Guan sensed it, his face became extremely ugly. "You're not dead? Fine, I'll kill you myself." Wang Jiani snorted. Mo Xiu, Qin Xiener and the others were also surprised. Yes, is Feng still alive? Spirit Turtle Master's face was cold. He lost to this kid in the political formation. He didn't expect him to still be alive. The 9 great saints had also come. Was Lin Wudi the only one who had come out? Where was that little Taoist? They found that the Green Mountain world was completely closed. The other party didn't appear. What's going on? Let me ask you, have you seen a little Taoist? The saint of Wanjiani walked out and asked coldly. The other saint of Wanjiani also looked cold. Lin Xian said with a smile, "What little Taoist? I don't know. Then why did you come out so late? Do I have to listen to you when I come out?" Lin Xian rolled his eyes. "How dare you? How dare you talk to us with such a tone?" The saint of Wanjiani was unhappy. "What? Are you trying to flaunt your seniority in front of me? I won't fall for it." Lin Xian ignored them. The surrounding people were stunned. Oh heavens, Lin Wudi is too arrogant. He doesn't even give face to the saint of Wanjiani. Looks like he'll have to teach you a lesson. The saint of Thunder God walked out. The other saint of Wanjiani also looked cold. "What do you want?" The elders of the Green Mountain race walked over. The Green Mountain race's leader said, "Young Master Lin is our Green Mountain race's guest. I don't want him to be threatened here." Damn it. The saint of Wanjiani's face turned ugly. The others were also in an uproar. They didn't expect Lin Xian to have such a trump card. The Green Mountain race was willing to protect him. At this time, Mo Xiu walked up and said, "Elder, I found a problem. When we were at the Clear Moon Lake, we met this Lin Wudi. At that time, his formation skills were superb, and that little Taoist was a formation expert. Do you think there's a connection between the two?" "What?" The eyes of the Saint of Yellow Spring Hall lit up. The other Saint of Wanjiani also said, "Is it true?" Mo Xiu said, "Of course it's true. Yu Quan was there back then, and more importantly, Master Spirit Turtle was there too. Even with Master Ling Gui's attainments, he couldn't compare to that kid. He couldn't even compare to 1/10 of that kid. We thought it was strange at that time." "What? Master Spirit Turtle couldn't even compare to 1/10 of that kid?" The Saint of Wanjiani was completely stunned. They knew how powerful Master Spirit Turtle's formation skills were. When they thought about that little Taoist's heaven-defying formation skills, they almost went crazy. In an instant, countless eyes were fixed on Lin Xian. "Kid, tell us, why are you so powerful? What's your relationship with that little Taoist? Are the two of you the same person?" Cold shouts came. The surrounding people were confused. Who was that little Taoist? Why did he attract so much attention from the Saint of Wanjiani? However, those who knew the situation felt their scalps go numb. They knew that the little Taoist had easily trapped the 9 great sacred venerables. He had even slapped the 9 great sacred venerables' faces. Sure enough, the news quietly spread, and it became more and more widespread. The surrounding people were stunned. "You're saying that a Taoist priest kicked the Saint Venerables and robbed the 9 Saint Venerables? Chang Tianya, who is that? You're saying that he's Lin Wudi?" These people were crazy. Didn't they say that Lin Wudi had just entered the pilgrim rankings? How could he compete with the 9th great sage? Lin Xian was also surprised. He didn't expect these people to be so smart. They guessed it was him so quickly. However, he would never admit it. He said, "What little Taoist? I don't know. Are you trying to frame me? You said that I'm the little Taoist, but do you have proof? So what if my formation skills are powerful? That Spirit Turtle is only a mid-stage small saint. What's wrong with my formation skills being stronger than his?" However, You said that I trapped the 9th great sage. Have you ever seen a small saint trap 9 saint of Wanjiani? Was your brain struck by lightning? Indeed, the surrounding people didn't believe it either. Why did it sound like a legend? The sharp-tongued kid made those Saint of Wanjiani go crazy. They had to figure it out. Yuquan said that it's very simple. Just capture him and collect his soul. Chapter 4095. As soon as he said that, Murong Qingqing and Li Hongxia's expressions changed. Lin Xian also frowned. Soul search? Who do you think you are? You think you can take my soul? What a joke. Everyone's soul contained endless secrets. How could he let others search and take his soul? Why? Do you feel guilty? Huang Ming snorted coldly. I find you more and more suspicious. The 10,000 Swords Pavilion's saint stepped forward, and so did the 1,000 Demon Cities saint. They also wanted to take his soul. Humph. Don't go too far. Do you really think my Green Mountain tribe doesn't exist? The Green Mountain tribe's patriarch walked over. I said that young Master Lin is our honored guest. Whoever dares to touch him will be my Green Mountain tribe's enemy. The Green Mountain tribe's elders and the others all stepped forward, emitting a cold aura. The atmosphere between the two sides became more and more tense. The 9 great sages' face turned ugly. They didn't act rashly, but they wouldn't give up either. At this moment, Emoshio said, Elder, you don't want me to fight, right? His words attracted the attention of countless people. Emoshio said, he's already on the pilgrim list. It's not too much for me to fight him. Lin Wudi, do you dare to fight with me? If you lose, be a good boy and let us take your soul. Are they going to fight again? Moreover, it's a battle on the pilgrim list. Everyone became excited. They didn't see the battle between Lin Xian and Yuquan, which disappointed them greatly. However, now that they could see the battle between Emoshio and Lin Xian, they felt that this trip was worth it. What do you think? Kid, do you dare to fight? Emoshio looked as if victory was in his hands. Lin Xian said, What if you lose? What do you plan to do? Humph. I can't lose. Seeing Lin Xian's disdainful smile, Emoshio gritted his teeth and said, If I lose, I'll let you go. How about that? You won and lost, but you didn't want to suffer any losses. How could there be such a thing in the world? I won't participate in such a battle. You don't dare? Fine, if I lose, I'll let you take my soul. Emoshio said that, seeing that the other party didn't agree. What's the point of taking your soul? Lin Xian snorted coldly. His eyes were filled with killing intent. If you want to fight me, sure. If I lose, I'll let you collect my soul. If you lose, you die. What do you think? Do you dare? When these words came out, everyone was stunned. Losing meant death. Emoshio's expression also changed. Brat, don't go overboard. Exactly. The saints of the Acheron Hall roared in anger. This was unfair. Lin Xian smiled. Fairness? What fairness? You guys are the ones who are begging Pretty Face to fight me. If you guys aren't willing, then forget it. I don't want to fight with you. The people of the Acheron Hall were so angry that they vomited blood. Even the holy venerate of the Acheron Hall had an ugly expression. Indeed, they were the ones who started this battle. The other party didn't want to fight in the first place. If the conditions were fair, why would the other party make a move? Bet with him, I don't believe he can beat you. What? Emoshio was somewhat hesitant. The Lord said, Why? You don't trust me? I know. Emoshio nodded. Indeed, what was he worried about? His strength was higher than Yuquan's. How could he lose to the other party? And even if he lost, so what? If he lost, he still had the holy venerate on his side, who could save his life. Could the other party kill him in the hands of the holy venerate? In other words, he wouldn't be in any danger if he lost. Thinking of this, he smiled. Good boy, I'll do as you wish. The surrounding people were in an uproar. Were they really going to make a big bet? Lin Xian snorted coldly. Words are no proof. Let's sign the life and death contract. He waved his hand, and the endless ground formed a stone tablet. Lin Xian wrote down the conditions and then signed his name. He looked at Emoshio and said, Use your blood to write your name. Humph, you still can't escape after playing so many tricks. Emoshio snorted coldly. Since he had already made up his mind, he did not hesitate. He bit his finger and wrote his name with his blood. Lin Xian handed the stone tablet to the leader of the Green Hill race and said, "Senior, please keep it for me in case they go back on their word later." "All right, Lin Wudi, the life and death contract has been signed. Hurry up and start." "As you wish." Lin Xian walked out. When the people of the Green Hill race saw this scene, they knew that they couldn't stop him. So he said, "Follow me. Everyone, please follow me. We have a specialized ancient arena." The group of people walked toward the ancient arena in a grandiose manner. Countless discussions sounded. They were all talking about who would win and who would lose. Yuquan gritted his teeth. Although he was unwilling, he knew that Emoshio's strength was above his. Wang Jiani and the others also thought the same. On the other side, Morong Qingqing and Li Hongxiu said, "Brother Xian, is there no problem?" Lin Xian nodded. There was no problem. There was no suspense in this battle. Before breaking through, he could defeat Yuquan. Now that he had broken through, even if Emoshio was stronger than Yuquan, he didn't care. Not long after, they arrived at the ancient arena. The surrounding people were watching. Lin Xian and Emoshio stood up. The ancient arena shone brightly, enough to support their battle. "Brat, you're too arrogant. Do you think that you're my opponent after defeating Yuquan? You don't understand the pilgrim roll at all. Every ranking on the pilgrim roll has a huge difference in strength. My ranking is above Yuquan. You're no match for me. More importantly, I've also found some incredible treasures in the Green Hill world. Do you think I didn't get anything?" He snorted coldly as he said this. The yellow spring law on his body surged, and a violent and terrifying aura spread out. The surrounding people trembled when the aura swept past them. What a terrifying aura! Yuquan's pupils shrunk. This aura is very close to the late stage of the minor saint realm. Has his cultivation base improved? Looks like it won't be long before he breaks through. He was really envious. The others were also screaming. Yuquan's strength was much stronger than when he had entered. The Saint Venerable of the Yellow Spring Palace smiled. "Let's see how he's going to die this time. Not good." Morong Qingqing and Li Hongxiu became nervous. Qing Shanyu and the rest were also worried. Even the people of Qing Shanwu were frowning. They decided that no matter what the result of this battle was, they had to save Lin Xian's life. "Brat, how are you? Are you feeling desperate? I'm only a step away from the late stage of the minor saint realm. What do you have to fight me?" Emoshio laughed complacently. "Is this the reason why you're so arrogant? You're really pitiful. Do you think you're the only one who has a breakthrough?" Lin Xian took a step forward. The energy that belonged to him erupted, sweeping across the surroundings. The surrounding people were stunned at first, then they screamed wildly. "Mid-minor saint. Lin Wudi has already reached the mid-stage of the minor saint realm? Impossible. Wasn't he an early-stage minor saint when he entered? He actually broke through in there." Countless screams sounded. What kind of fortune did he get? How is this possible? Emoshio's pupils shrunk. He thought that he had gotten enough fortune. Who would have thought that his opponent had gotten even more than him? He actually broke through? Wang Jiani and the rest frowned. If they remembered correctly, he was just a puny fifth heavenly layer saint when they first met him. But now, he had already reached the mid-stage of the minor saint realm after such a short period of time. This was just too unbelievable. Chapter 4096. That's great. Brother Xian's cultivation base has broken through. Morong Qingqing. They heaved a sigh of relief. The people of Green Hill clan smiled. Lin Xian sneered. "Do you still think you're my opponent? Kid, don't be too arrogant. So what if you've broken through? My strength is not something you can imagine." At this point, Emoshio roared angrily. With a slap, the boundless laws of the Yellow Springs surged, turning into a giant Yellow Springs python that charged forward. The void shattered and countless people screamed. The Yellow Spring giant dragon instantly arrived in front of Lin Xian. Buzz. Lin Xian waved his hand. The 5 elemental law intertwined, forming a 5 elemental mountain in front of him. The two collided with each other. The terrifying power intertwined, and the terrifying sound was like 10,000 claps of thunder. The pupils of the people who were watching the battle instantly shrank. So strong. These two people were really too strong, far surpassing them. What shocked them even more was that Emoshio's attack was easily blocked by Lin Xian. It's really unbelievable. I didn't believe it when I heard that Lin Xian defeated Yu Quan. Now it seems that I really believe it. It seems that Lin Wudi has grown to such a terrifying extent. The surrounding people exclaimed in surprise. However, the faces of the people of Yellow Spring Palace sank. They began to worry for Emoshio. This was something that had never happened before. Humph. Looking at the surging Yellow Spring Law in front of him, Lin Xian's eyes flashed with a cold light. Emoshio, let me have a taste of your Yellow Springs Hall's ultimate techniques. With that, he waved his hand, and terrifying light and the magical laws of the 5 elements exploded out. It directly suppressed the Yellow Spring Giant Python. Boom, boom, boom. The vast 5 elemental law surged between heaven and earth, as if it could suppress everything. Even the little saints of the older generation sucked in a cold breath when they sensed the aura. On the opposite side, Emoshio also frowned. It seemed that the opponent's strength had really increased. Compared to the last time they met, it was much stronger. Humph! But very quickly he snorted coldly, and a wisp of piercingly cold killing intent appeared in his eyes. He would not let the other party walk out alive today. With a stomp of his foot, endless Yellow Springs water surged beneath his feet, forming the Yellow Springs monstrous beast. Roaring around. The scene was incomparably spectacular. The rift cracked open as a terrifying forest of bones crawled out from it. I am in charge of the Yellow Springs. What can you use to fight me? Emoshio snorted coldly. The light in his eyes became even brighter. Their palms formed hand seals, and the skeletal creatures let out heaven-shaking roars. The surrounding water of the Yellow Springs also gathered madly, forming a Yellow Spring spear. Blood dripped from the spear, making people want to vomit. The aura above was too terrifying, causing the surrounding people to scream. This was the Yellow Springs' ultimate technique. It seemed that the ink cultivator was really planning to end the battle quickly. He was not holding back at all. Well, as Emoshio's palm fell, the terrifying Yellow Spring spear also pierced down. The surrounding void continued to shatter. In an instant he arrived in front of Lin Xian. The Yellow Spring water above could corrode everything. The Law of Sunday. Lin Xian roared angrily. Endless Law of Sun surged, forming one golden crow after another at his fingertips. With terrifying divine fire, they flew into the sky and collided with the Yellow Spring spear. Boom, boom, boom. A terrifying sound rang out, and the law fragments spread out in all directions. The void in the arena was shattered. Fortunately, the ancient defensive array in the arena allowed people to watch the battle safely. Otherwise, many people would be smashed to pieces by the aftermath of the energy. Emoshio's face turned cold when he saw the Yellow Spring spear blocked by his opponent. However, his hand movements did not slow down at all. After the first Yellow Spring spear, the second and third Yellow Spring spear quickly formed. In the blink of an eye, tens of thousands of Yellow Spring spears enveloped the arena. They were densely packed, as if opening a passage to hell. Each Yellow Spring spear could easily kill a small saint. With so many of them descending together, it was really powerful to the extreme. The surrounding saints felt their scalps go numb. They were afraid that even if they joined forces, they would not be able to withstand such an attack. Was this the strength of the geniuses on the pilgrim list? Under the Saint Venerables, there were not many people who could contend against them. This Emoshio was not a true late small saint, but he was already so terrifying. They wondered how terrifying the power of a true late small saint like Wang Jiani and Chao Tianxing would be once they unleashed their full strength. Would they be able to contend against Saint Venerables? Destroy. On the arena, Emoshio roared. Countless Yellow Spring spears fell from the sky. The mountains and rivers shattered, and the heaven and earth lost their color. Nothing could stop it. Even the arena was trembling violently. Not good. Qing Shan and the others were already pale with fright when they saw this scene. Even Morong Qingxing and Li Hongxiu were nervous to the extreme. Such an attack was enough to threaten anyone. Lin Xian's face was also pale. Facing such a violent attack, he snorted coldly and moved quickly. Kill. With a roar, Lin Xian did not dodge. Instead, he waved his fists and attacked rapidly. Nine Sun's divine fist. He threw out millions of fists. Each of his fists seemed to have turned into a sun. From the ground to the sky, they collided with the Yellow Springs spears that filled the sky. Boom, boom, boom. Terrifying sounds rang out continuously, causing the crowd to tremble. Not good. Quickly seal off your hearing. Some of the weaker saints quickly sealed off their hearing. Otherwise, the continuous rumbling would cause them to bleed and explode to death. The experts of the older generation were also shocked. The collision lasted for a long time. The front was shrouded by various kinds of energy, making it impossible to see clearly. Only the rumbling sounds could be heard. Wan Jianyi Yuquan, Qin Xiener and the others frowned. They were strong enough to see the battle clearly through the light of the law. This was also the reason why they frowned. They could see that Emoshio did not have the upper hand. Lin Xian had completely blocked the underworld spear, which was worth over 10 million. The rumbling lasted for a long time before it slowly dissipated. When the crowd saw the phenomenon disappear, they were stunned. They knew that Lin Xian had completely blocked it. Lin Xian sneered. Is that all you have? You can't get any better? If that's all you have, you can die in peace. Kid, you're too arrogant. I was just testing you. Emoshio's expression was cold. In the next moment, the Yellow Springs law on his body intertwined again, forming the Yellow Springs diagram. The aura on his body became even more terrifying. Boom! The Yellow Springs diagram continued to expand, enveloping the entire arena. A ghastly energy began to spread through the air. The surrounding people could not see it. They could only see the Yellow Springs water. Many people gasped. Could it be the Yellow Springs sacred region? Chapter 4097. Then wouldn't Lin Wudi be in danger? Cries of surprise could be heard once again. Lin Xian also frowned. He felt that his Nanyang divine fire, sun law, and divine body were all suppressed. The surrounding aura made him extremely uncomfortable. Whoosh! Emoshio walked over on the Yellow Springs water. How is it? Do you feel the suppression? This is my Yellow Springs sacred domain. I am the ruler here. Your laws have already been suppressed by me. You are not my match at all. Is that so? Then I'll just break your Yellow Springs diagram. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He blasted upwards. He directly destroyed a part of the world. The nearby Yellow Springs water exploded. However, only the Yellow Springs water was swallowed, but no light was revealed. Useless brat. Do you think this is a simple Yellow Springs diagram? You are too laughable. This is a sacred artifact. Do you think I am not prepared to deal with you? The people outside also exclaimed. What's going on? Can't you see it? Most people couldn't see the situation inside. That shouldn't be. The older generation figures were also puzzled. At this moment, Qin Xiener exclaimed. It wasn't an ordinary Yellow Springs diagram. He used a sacred artifact. Could it be the legendary Yellow Springs gourd? When these words were said, many people exclaimed. The Yellow Springs gourd was a terrifying treasure of heaven and earth. Legend has it that the gourd grew in the Yellow Springs. It was very strange. The gourd itself was a powerful weapon. It was said that the gourd naturally contained the Yellow Springs diagram. This kind of Yellow Springs gourd was very rare. Only the Yellow Springs Hall could obtain it. Even in the Yellow Springs Hall, there weren't many of them. They didn't expect Emoshio to have one. Moreover, he was using it now. Damn it. Li Hongxiu gritted her teeth. Damn it. Murong Qingcheng also said that if Brother Xian is in any danger, I will definitely not let your Yellow Springs Hall off. Imph. The Yellow Springs Hall saint sneered. The two of them had already signed the life and death agreement. Their lives and deaths were up to fate. What are you worried about? Lin Wudi naturally dared to fight. He had to be prepared to be killed. But don't worry, Emoshio knew what he was doing. He wouldn't directly kill Lin Wudi. He would cripple that brat, and then take his soul to see if he was really that little Taoist. If he is, I will personally torture him for 10,000 years, so that he will never be reincarnated. This killing intent shook the heavens and the earth, causing everyone to want to kneel down. What should he do? Was the patriarch going to make a move? The leader of the Green Mountain race also frowned. The eyes of the chief of Green Mountain flickered. He is a holy venerate and can see through everything. He said that there is no rush and that there is no need for us to take action for now. He could see the situation inside. Inside, Emoshio had a smug smile on his face. In his opinion, Lin Xian should have been terrified or even begging for mercy, but he didn't. The corners of Lin Xian's mouth also curled up into a smile. A saint artifact? Sure enough, he had some tricks up his sleeve, but it was too despicable. Do you think that by trapping me here, you can succeed and defeat me? You are too naive. That's good too. Outsiders won't be able to easily interfere with the Yellow Springs Life Saint artifact. If I kill you, your elders won't be able to stop me. Hearing those arrogant words, Emoshio's face darkened completely. You are still so stubborn even when you are about to die. It seems that you won't shed tears until you see the coffin. Lin Xian wasn't afraid of being sealed by a saint artifact at all because he had full confidence in his own strength. Moreover, he also wanted to see how strong he was after his cultivation breakthrough. Buzz. Thinking of this, a piercing cold light appeared in his eyes. The sun law on his body disappeared, and was replaced by a pitch-black law. The law of death. Did Emoshio think that he could suppress him just because he was cold? What a joke. He had Tai Chi, the combination of yin and yang. He wasn't afraid of fighting in any situation. Emoshio on the other side was also on the move. Endless yellow runes spread out from his body and covered it. An extremely cold aura was emitted from his body. Yellow Springs body. This was a terrifying physique. Obviously, Emoshio also cultivated a special physique. This was not innate, but something that was cultivated later in life. For example, Lin Xian's Nine-Yang Divine Physique. However, the Nine-Yang Divine Physique was strong and firm, while the Yellow Springs body should be cold. Kid, it's time to show you the power of my Yellow Springs body. After using the Yellow Springs body, Emoshio felt an endless power. Like a demon, he smiled coldly. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. Yellow Springs body? It seems that you also have a special physique. However, you are no match for the divine physique. Therefore, I can kill you with the law of death alone. The law of death in Lin Xian's hand condensed into the death demon blade. A terrifying aura of death spread out and collided with the law of death. It formed a thunderous sound. Feeling the law of death, Emoshio frowned slightly. To be honest, although they were both cold energy, the law of death was indeed unique. He felt that the vitality in his body was being drained. Emoshio shouted coldly. The Yellow Springs body completely erupted and blocked the law of death. It's useless. The law of death can't beat my law of death. As he spoke, his body suddenly disappeared. When he reappeared, he was behind Lin Xian. He raised his right leg and swept it out, wanting to kick Lin Xian into two. The void was instantly shattered by the kick. Lin Xian's clothes were also trembling nonstop. Lin Xian was surprised. Emoshio's speed was so fast that it was close to teleportation. However, he knew that Emoshio didn't know any spatial divine ability. The reason why Emoshio was so fast was because this was the Yellow Springs body. Emoshio could fuse with the Yellow Springs water to appear in any place quickly. While thinking, Emoshio swung his saber. The terrifying death demon blade draped over Emoshio's leg. It forced Emoshio back. Sparks flew and cracks spread all over. Emoshio felt that his whole leg was numb. However, he was after all a top genius who had fought with late minor saints countless times. It could be said that he was very experienced. After his attack failed, he clawed at the air. Along with his claw, the Yellow Springs water above him cracked, and a huge white bone claw descended. It merged with Emoshio's claw. Its power skyrocketed. Even a late minor saint wouldn't dare to resist. Buzz. Lin Xian relied on his super strong physique and threw out a punch. Then the two quickly exchanged blows. Every blow was earth-shattering, making one's scalp tingle. In the blink of an eye, the two had exchanged more than 100 blows. The surrounding void was completely shattered and couldn't heal at all. Damn it! Emoshio's face turned a little ugly. He took out the Yellow Springs gourd and used the Yellow Springs body. This showed that he wanted to end the battle quickly. However, after more than 100 blows, not only did he not do anything to Emoshio, but his whole body was also numb. His movements weren't as fast as before. He didn't dare to imagine what would happen if the battle continued. How could it be? This was his territory. Damn brat, you've completely angered me. Go to hell. As he spoke, he formed a seal with his palms. The Yellow Springs gourd rolled violently. It intertwined and formed a small Yellow Springs diagram. Rumor had it that the Yellow Springs gourd grew in the Yellow Springs hell, and could form the Yellow Springs Tao diagram. Obviously, this was the Yellow Springs Tao diagram. Lin Xian felt a chill down his spine. This was already enough to threaten his physique. This Yellow Springs gourd was indeed too extraordinary. He didn't dare to be careless. In an instant he used the Space Divine ability and dodged instantly. Buzz. In the next moment he appeared outside the Yellow Springs gourd. Did he come out? Countless people screamed. What was going on? Wasn't the Yellow Springs gourd super powerful? Couldn't he come out? Could it be that Lin Wuti broke the Yellow Springs gourd? Many people screamed. The Saint Venerable of the Yellow Springs Hall also frowned. At this time, Gu Feng snorted coldly. Space Divine ability, Void Escape. Damn it, this is a Space Divine ability. Chapter 4098. What? Spatial magic? Hearing this, the surrounding people screamed. Lin Wuti actually knows spatial magic? Wait. Gu Feng's pupils shrank. He remembered that the one who knew spatial magic was that little Taoist. Why did Lin Wuti know it too? Could it be that Lin Wuti is that little Taoist? The others also reacted, especially the Saint Venerables. They did not hide the killing intent in their eyes. Damn brat, I'll kill you with my own hands. Saint Venerable Huangming and the Saint Venerables of the 10,000 Swords Pavilion were furious. Oh no, are the Saint Venerables going to intervene? The people of the Green Mountain Tribe were also very nervous. The Green Mountain Tribe's patriarch was ready to make a move. Lin Xian sneered. Old thing, don't you know the rules? Brat, you're that little Taoist? Don't hide it anymore. Who told you that? Who said that I used spatial magic to come out? That was clearly a spatial magic. Otherwise, how could you come out? Gu Feng also said coldly. He also hoped that Lin Xian would be killed. He did not want the Gu family's magic to be in the hands of outsiders. Look at what that is. Lin Xian pointed at the underworld gourd and said. Everyone looked carefully. At first they did not feel anything, but in the next moment, their pupils shrank. They found that a crack had appeared on the underworld gourd. Then a huge crack appeared. Endless underworld water rushed into the sky. How could it be? The gourd was broken. Could it be that it really was not a spatial magic? For a moment, many people looked at Gu Feng. Gu Feng snorted and did not say anything. He knew that Lin Xian was trying his best to hide it. It was useless for him to say anything. The people of the underworld hall were even more shocked. Was the underworld gourd broken? How could it be? That was an extremely terrifying saint artifact. Moreover, it was a natural saint artifact. Lin Xian snorted. He had already expected that he would be recognized when he used the Void Escape. Therefore, he directly used the Great Dragon Sword Soul to create a crack. This way, even if the other party suspected him, they would have no evidence. As expected, the Saint Venerables of the Underworld Hall looked gloomy. The Saint Venerables of the 10,000 Swords Pavilion also did not make a move. Morong Qingqing and the others heaved a sigh of relief. Within the Yellow Spring gourd, Emoshio's expression had indeed turned incomparably ugly. The other party had actually cut open his gourd. Damn it! With a roar, he rushed out of the crack. They quickly charged towards Lin Xian. The two of them fought again. This time the people around them saw it. Of course they only saw a blurry image. Heavens, Emoshio was actually in close combat with Lin Wuti. Didn't Lin Wuti have a type of divine physique? This Emoshio actually also cultivated his physique. Yellow Spring's body. Emoshio's physique was the Yellow Spring's physique, which was extremely cold. I wonder which of these two physiques is stronger? Everyone was talking about it. Lin Xian snorted coldly. It's time to end this. You're just SOSO. He felt that Emoshio's strength was strong, but it was also not that strong. Compared to Wan Jiani, there was still a gap. After all, there was a gap of one level between them, so he was completely capable of dealing with it now. In the next moment, he directly activated the Nine-Yang Divine Physique. The Taiji diagram was displayed by him, and he attacked with all his might. Boom. Boom. The The battle between the two physiques was incomparably earth-shattering. The surrounding people were also trembling as they watched. After 100 moves, Lin Xian broke Emoshio's arm with a punch. The Yellow Spring's body was broken. Emoshio retreated and screamed crazily. Blood flowed, mixed with the Yellow Spring's water. It was abnormally ferocious. I've said it before, you're not my match. There's only one outcome for challenging me, and that's death. How was that possible? The people of the Yellow Springs Hall were stunned. Was the Yellow Springs body broken? Their expressions were ugly. What kind of physique did the other party have? Emoshio stood up from the Yellow Springs water. The endless Yellow Springs water repaired his body, but his expression was incomparably cold. He had lost to the other party. He would not lose this battle. In the next moment he waved his hand and pulled out a weapon from the Yellow Springs gourd. It was his weapon, the Yellow Springs trident. The Yellow Springs trident was incomparably black. When the strike landed, it was as if a huge mountain was pressing down. The front of the Yellow Springs trident was like a huge mountain. The three demons were constantly growing larger at this moment. Then, they turned into a black dragon and pressed forward. It could be hard or soft. It was really a super powerful sacred artifact. Buzz. 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 The black light was like a whip, instantly entangling Lin Xian. Die. With a roar, he crazily used his strength and immediately enveloped Lin Xian's body. It was a success. The people of the Yellow Springs Hall cheered, while the others gasped. However, some top experts frowned. Emoshio also frowned because he realized that it was only Yin and Yang Qi. Was it a clone? That's right, Lin Xian walked out from the other side. At this moment, in addition to laws, there was sword qi on his body. And in his hand, 36 golden sword shadows were circling. 36 golden battle swords were distributed in all directions, completely enveloping Emoshio. What was that? Tianya, did he actually refine that thing? He dared to use it. Wasn't he afraid that the Golden Crow race would hunt him down? Was there not a lot of people chasing after Lin Wudi? This kid probably didn't care at all. Exclamations sounded one after another, but everyone knew that this was a very terrifying sword formation. Kill. Emoshio felt the biting cold aura brought by the sword qi, and didn't dare to be careless in the slightest. He rushed over, and the Yellow Springs Dao diagram also followed, constantly attacking. Lin Xian snorted coldly. The Tai Chi diagram circled around him, constantly colliding with the Yellow Springs Dao diagram. The 36 battle swords attacked Emoshio. These 36 battle swords were like fish in water in Lin Xian's hands. The laws of the sword erupted, and like 36 divine swords, pierced through everything. Emoshio fought with it, but he was instantly suppressed. Not long after, one of his arms was cut off. Ah! Emoshio roared, and the surrounding Yellow Springs water instantly repaired it. But after 3 moves he was split in half by a sword. Then, his split body was pierced by the other battle swords. A miserable cry sounded, and Emoshio escaped into the Yellow Springs water. But it was still useless. The gap was too big. If Lin Xian hadn't broken through before, it might be very troublesome. But after his breakthrough, his strength had increased greatly. It was no problem for him to defeat Emoshio again. Sure enough, Emoshio was beaten miserably. The scalps of the others went numb. They knew that Emoshio was done for. Another expert on the Pilgrim rankings had been defeated by Lin Xian. How was it possible? How did he become so powerful? Yu Quan's body trembled when he saw this scene. Previously, he had wanted to take revenge, but after seeing Emoshio's condition, he didn't even dare to think about it. Qin Xianer was also shocked. She was stronger than Emoshio. Although she was stronger than Emoshio, she hadn't really reached the late stage of the small saint realm. If she fought with him, would she have a chance of winning? Thinking about it, he felt that it was impossible. Because he had used a charm technique before, and Emoshio didn't seem to fall for it. Could it be that only Wang Jianyi and Chao Tianxing could suppress him? How long had it been? Emoshio had already grown to this extent. One had to know that when they were on planet Tianming, they didn't take him seriously at all. In their opinion, if Emoshio wanted to break through to the Pilgrim rankings, it would take at least 300 years, or even 500 years. Chapter 4099. Damn it. The Netherworld Hall's Saint Venerable's expression became extremely ugly. To be honest, he never thought that Emoshio would lose. Moreover, he would lose to Lin Xian, ruining his previous plan. Emoshio, come back. He shouted coldly, unwilling to let Emoshio embarrass himself any longer. Because Emoshio was indeed very miserable now. Hearing this, Emoshio wanted to escape. However, Lin Xian's sword missed and blocked his way. Want to escape? Damn brat, how dare you stop me? Emoshio screamed crazily. The people of Netherworld Hall also roared. Let go of our young master, or you're dead. Are you guys crazy? Previously, he had signed a life and death agreement. If he lost, he would die. The life and death steel was still there. Lin Xian pointed into the distance and said. Then he controlled the 36 heavenly dipper swords with all his strength and attacked crazily. Ah! Emoshio's body was instantly cut into pieces, and he screamed in fear. Elder, save me, I'm really scared. The surrounding people were also stunned. Was Lin Wudi going to kill him? Brat, the Netherworld Hall's Saint Venerable, was completely angry. He would not allow Emoshio to be killed. Therefore, a large hand swept across the sky, directly enveloping the entire ancient arena. Fellow Taoist, you've crossed the line. The Qingshan martial clan's patriarch also snorted and punched out, blocking the terrifying palm. Qingshan martial clan, how dare you stop me? Do you want to go against Netherworld Hall? Emoshio's situation was getting worse and worse. He could not help but roar. The Qingshan martial clan's patriarch laughed. How would I dare to go against Netherworld Hall? However, we had a life and death agreement, so I hope you won't interfere. Inf. What life and death agreement? I only know that Emoshio is not on time today. He did not care at all and directly attacked. This time, he attacked with all his strength. He even took out his sacred artifact and broke through the defensive array below. Emoshio, run. When Emoshio saw this scene, he fled crazily. Lin Xian laughed. Shameless. A Saint Venerable is actually so shameless. Your Netherworld Hall's face is completely lost because of you. Brat, do you really think I don't dare to attack? I'll teach you a lesson today. His other hand reached out to grab Lin Xian. Lin Xian instantly used Void Escape and appeared in another location. At the same time, another 12 swords split open Emoshio's body, which had just healed. Void Escape. This time it was a spatial divine ability. At this time, Gufeng roared. After the other Saint Sovereigns heard this, their eyes turned red. You really are that little Taoist. Damn it, I'll make you wish you were dead. Holy Sovereign Huangming stepped forward. The Myriad Swords Grid Sage, the Thunder God City's Sage, and all the other sages surrounded Lin Xian. The 9 great sages surrounded Lin Xian. The people around him almost fainted. Had Lin Wudi provoked so many Saint Venerables? Heavens, I'm afraid I'm definitely going to die this time. Not good. The Green Mountain race's expression changed drastically. They could fight against 1 or 2 Saint Venerables. However, the combined forces of the 9 great sage lords was still a huge pressure for them. It would be very difficult for them to protect Lin Xian. That's right, it's yours truly. How was it? Did it feel good to be slapped in the face by me previously? Holy Sovereign Huangming, your head is really suitable to be used as a chair. And you, Myriad Swords Grid, thank you for your treasures. Lin Xian looked around and burst out laughing. This scene had the 9 great sage lords so angry that they spat out blood. Damn it. They had been guests by the other party for an entire month. Their lungs were about to explode. No matter who comes today, I'm going to kill you. Holy Sovereign Huangming was the first to strike. He was the one who had been tortured the most. Therefore, he was going to kill the other party at all costs. The Myriad Swords Grid Sage Lord followed closely behind. He wanted to take back the Myriad Swords. 2 great Sage Lords struck out instantly with an extremely strong aura. At this moment, the Green Mountain Race's clan leader roared out as he slapped out with both hands. The horrifying aura of the palm spread out, causing everyone around to retreat frantically. Even Myriad Swords and the others retreated quickly, not daring to fight back. With so many Saint Venerables striking together, they could definitely destroy everything. Boom. Boom. The Green Mountain Race's clan leader was very powerful. He managed to block the two attacks by himself. The Saint Venerables of the Great Desolate Mansion and Myriad Swords Grid were forced to retreat. Their expressions were extremely ugly. Humph! How dare you behave so atrociously in our territory? Do you really think that the Green Mountain race is easy to bully? The Green Mountain race's clan leader said coldly. The surrounding Saint Venerables of the Sacred City were stunned when they saw this scene. Wasn't the Green Mountain race's clan leader too powerful? Was the Green Mountain race's clan leader a mid-stage or late-stage Saint Venerable? They were really shocked. Holy Sovereign Huang Ming and the Myriad Swords Grid's Sage Lord looked cold as they emitted a shocking killing intent. Everyone, let's join hands. The other 7 great Sage Lords nodded. Even Master Spirit Turtle stood out. The 10 of them stood in the air like 10 gods of war. This brat will definitely die today. If don't dig your own grave. A cold voice resounded between heaven and earth. The people of the Green Mountain race trembled as fear appeared in their eyes. Their clan leader was indeed powerful. However, when faced with 9 sacred venerables and a formation master, would he be able to contend against them? Even if they had other saint venerables, was it necessary to fall out with so many sacred cities for Lin Xian? Let's do it. The 3 of us will stop the Green Mountain race's clan leader. The rest of you, capture that brat and tear him to pieces. A formation instantly formed between heaven and earth, enveloping the Green Mountain race's clan leader. Holy Sovereign Bai and the Myriad Demon City's clan leader attacked, casting terrifying spells that enveloped the Green Mountain race's clan leader. The other Saint Venerables rushed toward Lin Xian. Murong Qingqing and Li Hongxia's expressions changed drastically. They wanted to rush over, but the combined power of the great Sage Lords made it impossible for them to get close. Lin Xian's face turned cold. He didn't expect these Saint Venerables to be so despicable. They were actually so despicable as to team up. Now he could only use the Great Sage Tower to defend himself. Moreover, if he was forced into a corner, he would use the Great Dragon Sword Soul to kill those Saint Venerables. However, the price he would have to pay would be very high. After all, the Great Dragon Sword Soul was a bottomless pit. It would absorb too much power and be difficult to control. It would probably suck him dry. However, he couldn't care less about the current situation. His eyes shone with an extremely shocking light. He formed a seal with his palm and wanted to summon the Great Sage Tower. However, at that moment, a voice sounded, who said that the Green Mountain race was digging our own grave. Immediately after, a terrifying aura spread out and instantly enveloped the entire world. What a terrifying aura! The surrounding saints' expressions changed. Wan Jianyi, Qin Xiener, and the others were terrified. They looked into the distance, in the direction of the Green Mountain race. Did the Green Mountain race have other hidden experts? They felt that the aura had surpassed that of a Saint Venerable. The expressions of the 9 great holy exalts also changed. Shock filled their faces. That's impossible. This aura? How could it be? Chapter 4100. This aura that suddenly appeared was really too terrifying, so much so that it alarmed everyone. Even the 9th great sage was stunned. In the next moment, they felt the scene around them change drastically. There was an extremely terrifying sword light that split their divine abilities apart. They retreated frantically. In the next moment, they felt as if they had died thousands of times. But when they came back to their senses, nothing had happened. Their backs were already wet with sweat. What happened just now? Was it an illusion? What a terrifying illusion! Just as everyone was shocked, an 8 or 9-year-old youth walked out from the depths of the Green Mountain Foot, who said that the Green Mountain clan was digging their own grave. The youth said indifferently. His voice was a little immature. Everyone was stunned. Even the patriarch of the Green Mountain clan couldn't compete with the 9th great sage. Could a young boy do it? The youth looked at Saint Huang Ming. Is that you? A strange light appeared in his eyes. In the next moment, Saint Huang Ming's body suddenly trembled. He actually knelt down with a plop and kept trembling. What was going on? Everyone was stunned. A saint master actually knelt down to a youth, and he could make him kneel with a single glance. What was going on? Even the people of the Qingshang clan were stunned. Wasn't this the young master of their clan? Previously, in order to treat this young master, They had used all kinds of methods. In the end, he was cured by Lin Xian. Since when did the young master of their clan possess such strength? Lin Xian also turned his head. When he saw the young master, his pupils suddenly shrank, and the guess in his heart appeared again. Is that you? The young master looked at the Saint Master of the 10,000 Swords Pavilion. The Saint of the 10,000 Swords Pavilion's expression changed. Countless sword lights slashed out from his body. But in the next moment, he crazily crashed into the ground. He looked like he had gone mad. Elders! Those saints of the 10,000 Swords Pavilion. Seeing this scene, they rushed forward crazily. Soon, they were sent flying by the sword chi of the other party. They spat out large mouthfuls of blood. What was going on? Everyone was stunned. The other party only took 2 glances, and one Saint Master knelt down while the other went crazy. What kind of method was this? The other 7 Saint Venerables kept retreating. At this time, the Thunder God City's Saint Venerables seemed to have discovered something and screamed crazily. He pointed to the front, unable to speak clearly. The pupils of the 10,000 Fiend City's Holy Venerate also constricted. You look so much alike. Who are you exactly? Was he the descendant of the Green Mountain Saint King? Or are you the Green Mountain Sage King? Now, they realized that the young man before them looked very similar to the Qingshan Sacred King. Although his age was different, his demeanor could not be hidden at all. They recognized him at a glance. What? The Qingshan Saint King. This young man was the Qingshan Holy King. Impossible. The Qingshan Sacred King was someone from tens of thousands of years ago. Even the great emperors couldn't have lived for that long. How could he still be alive? Many people felt their minds go blank at this moment. They had all gone crazy. Sure enough, Lin Xian was also spitting out saliva. He had long suspected this. However, he did not dare to be sure. He did not expect that these holy venerables would discover it as well. Now that you know who I am, do you still dare to behave atrociously in the territory of the Green Mountain clan? The little young master said indifferently. Did he actually admit it? The other party was really the Qingshan Sacred King. Everyone was shocked. The people of the Green Mountain clan were also stunned. Was this their ancestor? The Green Mountain clan's patriarch seemed to have known it long ago. He looked at the 9th Great Sage. Do you still want to attack young Master Lin? If so, don't blame us for being impolite. A cold voice resounded through the world. The 9th Great Sage's expression became incomparably ugly. A Sage King from tens of thousands of years ago had actually walked out alive at this moment. It was truly shocking. It seemed that it was impossible to kill Lin Wudi today. If they continued to kill him, it was likely that they would not be able to walk out alive. Immediately, the Holy Venerate of the Thunder God City said, "We don't dare to. Thank you for disturbing us." The Holy Venerate of the 10,000 Fiend City instantly soared into the sky. The other Holy Venerables also left one after another, because this matter was too strange. Wang Jiani, Gufeng, Qin Xiener, and the others also felt their hair stand on end. The 9th Great Sage left just like that. Naturally, they did not dare to stay any longer. Emotio also fled. However, at this moment, an extremely terrifying light burst out from Lin Xian's eyes. He unleashed the Great Dragon Sword Soul. It turned into a long rainbow and instantly pierced through Emotio's body, shattering his soul. Ah! With a miserable cry, Emotio's astral soul was destroyed. Yu Quan was stunned. He was even trembling in fear. The pupils of Wang Jiani, Gufeng, and the others shrank. He attacked. The other party actually killed Emotio. His astral soul was destroyed. This method was too ruthless. What was that dragon shadow just now? The Holy Venerables were also stunned. Among them, the Holy Venerate of the Great Desolation Mansion roared crazily. "Kid, you're courting death." He wanted to attack, but in the next moment, he felt an extremely terrifying aura surging towards him. He fled crazily. The surrounding people were all stunned. A Holy Venerate fled just like that, not daring to fight back at all. Furthermore, Emotio was killed in front of 9 Holy Venerates just like that. This was truly shocking. The young master sighed. In the next moment, a dreamy light streaked across the sky and enveloped everyone. Don't leave behind any memories in my dream. He wanted to erase all memories of him. At this point, the eyes of those people turned blank. Even the ninth great sage seemed to let out a scream. In the next moment, the light disappeared. The ninth great sage looked puzzled. What just happened? Damn it, why couldn't they remember? The surrounding people were the same. Even Morong Qingqing and Li Hongxiu looked confused. The only person who wasn't affected was the Green Mountain Tribe's patriarch. The other person was Lin Xian. The others didn't understand. Although the ninth great sage didn't understand what was going on, they had a feeling that they couldn't stay in this place. This place was really too strange. They quickly retreated. The people of the Holy City had also forgotten what had just happened. They didn't know about the Green Mountain Sage King. However, when they saw that the Sage King had left, they also ran away. For a moment, only a few people were left in the field. The others were from the Green Mountain Tribe. Patriarch, what happened? These people had blank looks on their faces. It's nothing. Those people didn't want to go against the Green Mountain Tribe, so they left. All right, let's disperse. The surrounding people dispersed. Young Master Lin, please come this way. The Green Mountain Tribe's patriarch invited Lin Xian over. Lin Xian said to Morong Qingqing and Li Hongxiu, "The two of you, go to the main hall and wait for me. I have something to do." After saying that, he left with the patriarch. When he returned to the secret room, the young master had also returned. The Green Mountain Tribe's patriarch was also in the secret room. There were only the three of them. The Green Mountain Tribe's patriarch said, "Young Master Lin, don't worry. There are layers of formations here, and a layer of dreams. No one can investigate this place." The young master turned around and a smile appeared on his young face. "You seem to have a lot of questions." Lin Xian nodded. He said, "Senior, are you really the Green Mountain Sage King?" "That's right, I am." The young master nodded. Lin Xian sucked in a breath of cold air. It was too inconceivable. It was one thing for him to guess, but it was another thing for the young master to answer it personally. How was that possible? Lin Xian felt that it was unbelievable. One had to know that the Green Mountain Sage King was someone from tens of thousands of years ago. A Sage King couldn't have lived for so long. "Are you going to ask me why I'm still alive?" Lin Xian nodded after hearing that. This might be the other party's secret, so he didn't dare to ask. He didn't expect the other party to take the initiative to ask. The Green Mountain Sage King smiled. No one in this world could live for tens of thousands of years. Chapter 4101. What did that mean? Lin Xian was stunned. The Qingshan Sacred King said that I am no longer myself. You can treat me as a reincarnation. Hearing this, Lin Xian was shocked. Reincarnation? No wonder the Qingshan Sacred King looked like a child now. Everything made sense now. Could it be that the senior had retained all his memories and divine powers? This was what shocked him the most. He had seen the concept of reincarnation before, but shouldn't he have forgotten everything? He didn't expect the Qingshan Sacred King to retain his memories. The Qingshan Sacred King said that this is related to the nomological laws that I cultivate. I did forget, but I found them again. It's just that I'm still very weak now. I'm not at my peak. Therefore, I have to hide in the dark and not expose my identity. This is also why I erased the memories of those people. I also erased the memories of your two companions. Therefore, I hope that you can help me protect this secret. Lin Xian nodded, but he was puzzled. Why didn't the senior erase his memories? Was it just because I cured the senior? But that shouldn't be the case. Yes, it's because you cured me. You let me know that we're similar people. So I'll tell you. One day, we'll fight side by side. Similar people fighting side by side. Lin Xian was shocked. Indeed, the other party had been cursed before. Not to mention cultivating, even surviving was a problem. And he had been sealed by the black beam. Could it be that all of this was related? Was there a mastermind behind all of this? Lin Xian suddenly remembered that when he was on planet Tianming, the bronze emissary said that he was abandoned by the heavens. Moreover, the black beam had reappeared. Then were the people who were sealed and even cursed related to the heavens behind the other party? Lin Xian increasingly felt that there was a mysterious and transcendent power in this universe. However, he still didn't know what it was. I can't tell you this for now because you're still very weak. When you're strong, you'll naturally know. However, although I haven't recovered yet, there are still some things that I can do. If you need anything, you can inform me. Qingshan Sage King gave Lin Xian 2 tokens. He said that a command medallion contained a dreamscape. If you are in danger, you can crush the token, and the dreamscape will appear, allowing you to escape from danger. The second jade pendant is for you to contact the leader of the Green Mountain clan. If you have anything to tell him, I will know immediately. Lin Xian nodded. Thank you, senior. Qingshan Saint King took out another leaf and said, I'll give you something called the Dream Leaf. It was an illusory world constructed using the law of dreams. You can cultivate inside. Although it can't increase your cultivation, it can allow you to fight any enemy you can imagine, increasing your combat experience. Lin Xian took the Dream Leaf. Then he left. It was the chief of the Green Mountain tribe who had brought him here. Azure Mountain's clan head said that the old ancestor said that those holy venerates would not let this matter rest. Hence, he told me to send young master away. Lin Xian found Morong Qingqing and Li Hongxiu. The 3 of them took the teleportation formation and left the Green Mountain tribe. The formation flickered. Lin Xian and the other 2 disappeared. When they reappeared, they were already in outer space. They were surrounded by the cold universe. The 3 of them immediately moved and flew into the distance. However, 3 days later, they were stopped by someone. Kid, you still want to escape? Can you escape? Do you think you can do whatever you want with the protection of the Green Mountain tribe? Do you think the Green Mountain tribe can protect you in the universe now? The great sage appeared with his people and surrounded Lin Xian and the other 2. The great master spirit turtle also walked out with a sinister smile. We have long guessed that you might have been teleported. Hence, we have set up many perception formations and finally found you. Hearing this, Lin Xian's face darkened. Morong Qingqing and Li Hongxia's faces were very ugly. Damn it, these people really didn't give up. Lin Xian sighed. To be honest, although he knew about the existence of the Green Mountain Sage King, he couldn't say it out loud. Otherwise, if he used the Sage King to threaten the Great Sage, the other party would probably be scared shitless. It seemed like he had to think of another way. Kid, kneel down obediently, and I will give you a quick death. Return the treasures you plundered from us, or I will make you suffer a fate worse than death. Cold voices rang out one after another. The people from the sacred city behind were also crazy. They knew that Lin Xian was dead meat. With the combined forces of the great sage, no one could save him, unless the peerless Sage King came personally. However, the Sage King usually wouldn't interfere in such matters. Moreover, this place was very far from Peerless City. Even if the Sage King wanted to come, he wouldn't be able to stop him immediately. Meanwhile, the great Sage King could kill Lin Xian with a single glance. You bunch of old things think you can kill me for sure? Looks like the lesson I taught you before wasn't enough. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He took out a token from his storage ring and crushed it. Do you really think you can pull off such petty tricks in front of us? The Sage King of Thunder snorted and raised his hand. Endless thunder and lightning intertwined, directly sealing Lin Xian and the other 2. Morong Qingqing and Li Hongxia's bodies tensed up. They felt an indescribable pressure. This was the power of a Sage King. It was completely above them. Lin Xian's body was also stiff. The thunder and Li Hongxia's body had numbed him. He couldn't exert any strength at all. However, a cold light burst out from his eyes. His soul had improved. It had surpassed the level of a small saint. Although it hadn't reached the level of a Sage King, it was still able to move. Therefore his soul crushed the token. Damn kid, are you tired of living? The Sage King of Huangming roared, and the desolation chi pressed down. He wanted to completely suppress Lin Xian. Not good. Morong Qingqing and Li Hongxia's faces changed drastically. Lin Xian's face was also cold. The great dragon sword soul in his body roared crazily. Streams of sword chi rushed out, extinguishing the terrifying pressure in the surroundings. In the next moment, Lin Xian retreated with Morong Qingqing and the other 2. He used the Great Sage Pagoda to block the desolation chi. The 3 of them were forced back, blood flowing from the corners of their mouths. You can actually block my attack. The Sage King of Huangming was surprised. It seems that you still have a top-grade sage weapon in your hands. Just nice, it's mine. He was too surprised. This sage weapon could save the lives of 3 people. It must be of a very high grade. So what? The other party was too weak. Even if he had a supreme treasure, he was still no match for them. The great sage king of Huangming pressed down. No matter what, they wouldn't let the other party escape today. However, at this moment, a terrifying vortex appeared in the sky. Streams of terrifying demonic chi rushed out from inside. Who is it? How dare you attack young Master Lin? Are you tired of living? Between heaven and earth, a crazy roar sounded, and the surrounding void of the universe kept shattering. The great sage king of Huangming frowned. Buzz. The sage king of the 10,000 swords pavilion. He slashed out with his sword. He wanted to shatter the vortex. However, a pitch-black palm came out from the vortex and directly grabbed the sword. In the next moment, terrifying demonic figures walked out from the vortex one after another. There were a total of 18 figures, and each of them was extremely terrifying. 18 sage kings. Their auras were too powerful, enough to sweep away everything. As soon as they appeared, they surrounded the great sage king of Huangming. Not good. The great sage king of Huangming's expression changed instantly. They were horrified. The other party had twice their number. Damn it. It was the people of the heavenly fiend race. Did they all come out? Although the heavenly fiend race wasn't a sacred city, it used to be a sacred city. Their foundation was terrifying. The number of sage kings they had was not small. However, to use 18 of them at once was simply unimaginable. What was the relationship between this Lin Wudi and the heavenly fiend race? What could make the heavenly fiend race so crazy and reckless? Chapter 4102. Lin Xian also emitted a terrifying demonic aura. He said, "Kill them all. Don't leave a single one alive." Yes. The 18 demonic Dao Holy Venerables nodded in unison. Then their demonic aura surged. Kill. The 18 of them attacked together. Damn it. Do you want to become our enemy? We represent different holy cities. The Holy Venerables roared crazily. However, it was useless. The Sky Fiend tribe was originally a demonic Dao. Ruthless methods were vicious. In addition, in their eyes, Lin Xian was their Grand Elder. Whoever dared to touch their Grand Elder would be the enemy of the entire Sky Fiend tribe. They would kill their enemies at all costs. Therefore, the 18 demonic Dao Holy Venerables attacked crazily. The entire void was completely destroyed. The 9 great sage Holy Venerables screamed instantly. Although they were strong, it was 2 against 1. These people could not resist at all. Soon someone was killed. The people from the holy cities were even more miserable. They did not have time to escape at all. The energy shockwaves turned them into ashes. Lin Xian looked at this scene with a cold expression. He watched coldly from the space-time. 3 days later, this place was completely destroyed. It would probably take more than 1,000 years to recover. There was holy blood everywhere. This was the blood of the Holy Venerables. The 9 great sage Holy Venerables were completely killed. None of them escaped. Great Master Spirit Turtle was also killed. Even the experts from the holy cities were all killed. The surrounding sea of blood was filled with wails and howls. Of the 18 demonic Dao Holy Venerables, 3 died, 5 were seriously injured, and the others were bleeding. To kill someone of the same level, even if it was 2 against 1, it was still a painful price to pay. Moreover, they had doubled their numbers. Otherwise, they might not have been able to kill these Holy Venerables. Every Holy Venerate had a powerful trump card. However, even if they had to give up their lives, they had to kill these 9 people. Old Master, we have killed all of them. These people came up very respectfully. Alright, go back and recuperate. I will call you if there is anything. The demonic Dao vortex opened. These holy venerables quickly left. Seeing this scene, Morong Qingqing and Li Hongxue were stunned. Lin Xian was actually able to control so many demonic Dao holy venerates. This was too heaven-defying. Lin Xian looked at the 2 beauties and shrugged. Li Hongxue sighed. Forget it. Everyone has their own secrets. I want to ask. However, it was a pity that Wan Jianyi and the others were not here. Otherwise, they could have killed them all. Indeed, apart from the great Master Spirit Turtle, the 9 great sage, and a few other powerhouses of the sacred city had all fallen. However, Wang Jianyi, Gu Feng, and the others did not come, thus they managed to escape this calamity. Yu Quan was no match for him at all, so he didn't even spare him a glance. As for Wang Jianyi, he had the confidence to defeat him the next time they met. Therefore he ignored them and turned into a stream of light, disappearing into the universe. At the same time, the news spread out. After all, many people came out of the Green Mountain world. These people did not participate in the pursuit. Instead, they returned to the various worlds of the universe. Although their memories had been erased, only the memory of their young master being the Qingshan sacred ruler had been erased. His other memories were not lost at all. Therefore, they remembered all the major events that had happened clearly. Soon, the entire second astral realm was in an uproar. Heavens! Did you know that Lin Wuti had defeated Yu Quan and was already on the pilgrim list? What? How could it be impossible? You must be joking. That's right. How powerful was Yu Quan? Even a late minor saint was no match for him, let alone that Lin Wuti. That Lin Wuti was only an early minor saint. Where did his strength come from? Those people sneered and shook their heads. But soon, they found that the situation had changed again. Not only Yu Quan, but Xiu also died in his hands. Now only Wang Jianyi, Gu Feng, and the others could suppress him. It was impossible for the others. Those who did not go sneered. What kind of joke was this? Why was it getting more and more ridiculous? Previously, it was Yu Quan and now it was Xiu. However, the powerhouses of the sacred city spread the news one after another. Everyone frowned. Could it be true? After hearing the news, they were really shocked. The entire second astral realm was in an uproar. Oh my God! How long has it been? Lin Wuti has already created another miracle? Previously, when he had broken through to the minor saint realm and defeated Lei Zhen, it was already very terrifying. That made everyone know that Lin Wuti was a super expert below the pilgrim list. But now, he had already entered the pilgrim list and defeated 2 people consecutively. One of them even died in his hands. Was this guy trying to defy the heavens? It was said that he had obtained a lot of treasures in the Azure Mountain world, and his strength had greatly increased. He was now an intermediate minor saint. No way, how long had it been? How could he break through consecutively? It was comparable to thousands of years of cultivation in the outside world. After hearing the news, they were incomparably envious. They estimated that even if they cultivated for 2,000 years, they would not be able to reach his level. What kind of news was this? Let me tell you something even more terrifying. The great sage was trapped by Lin Wuti and was crazily trampling on his face. Even all the treasures on his body were taken away. How was that possible? This time, everyone was really crazy. If one said that he had entered the pilgrim list, they would have believed it. Lin Wuti had obtained a heaven-defying opportunity, and his strength had greatly increased. But to trap the great sage 9? What a joke. Even if he was given 1,000 years, he would not be able to do it. I swear I saw it with my own eyes. So did I. However, some people nodded suddenly. At that time, he had turned into a little Taoist and used a formation to trap those holy venerables. Everyone came to a realization. It turned out that it was a special formation. Thinking about it, the other party must have obtained it in the Azure Mountain realm. Otherwise, it would not be a threat to the holy venerables. Even so, it was already very terrifying. How much courage did it take to slap the face of a holy venerables? Would the great sage 9 let it go? No one knew. However, the Azure Mountain realm protected Lin Xian, so he was in the Azure Mountain realm. Those holy venerables did not move. However, it was not certain if they would come out. Why don't we go and take a look? Let's go. These people moved out crazily. They wanted to inquire about the latest news. After searching for a while, they did not get any news. However, a few months later, a terrifying thing happened. A certain place in the void of the universe had become a forbidden land. The baleful aura of the blood sea there was shocking. Ordinary small saints would definitely die if they went in. Heavens, what happened there? Blood, and a lot of holy venerables' blood, was not changed all year round. Coupled with the endless resentment, those below holy venerables could not enter at all. Some people did not believe it and went there. They could feel the killing intent from afar. Heavens! Why do I feel such terrifying demonic chi? Not only that, but I also feel the biting cold sword chi, the aura of desolation, and the aura of the yellow springs. Could it be that many holy venerables from the holy cities died here? Could it be the 9 great sage 9? For a moment, these people were terrified. Was the 9 great sage 9 who chased after Lin Wuti dead? Who did it? Was it the Sage King? They trembled. Chapter 4103. The news quickly spread. So much so that the holy cities also received the news. They immediately sent out powerhouses and discovered that this aura was indeed from the people they had sent to the Green Mountain group. Damn it, damn it! What exactly happened? These people rushed over frantically. They wanted to go to the Green Mountain clan to ask. However, they soon returned empty-handed. They even returned with goosebumps. They didn't know what had happened. They only knew that they couldn't go to the Green Mountain clan so easily. Damn it, it must have something to do with Lin Wuti. Quickly find that kid and kill him. The people of the holy cities frantically moved out, but they didn't find anything at all. Lin Xian had already found an inconspicuous world and entered it. Then he entered the Great Sage Tower to cultivate in seclusion. He had obtained so many treasures in the Green Mountain world, and had even improved his realm. In addition, he had to recuperate after the previous battle. In the blink of an eye, a year had passed. Li Hongxiu had returned, and Murong Qingqing was by his side. In this year he had already consolidated his realm. He was prepared to cultivate some new things, such as the 10,000 swords return to origin. This was something he had wanted to cultivate for a long time. Now that he had the Dream Leaf, he could cultivate while condensing imaginary enemies in the Dream Leaf to fight. This way, his cultivation of the 10,000 swords return to origin would be much faster. Just like that, Lin Xian began to cultivate tirelessly. Under normal circumstances, it would be impossible to cultivate the 10,000 swords return to origin without at least 100 years. Even a top genius like Wang Jiani would need a few decades to do so. However, 3 years later, Lin Xian had mastered it. Moreover, it wasn't an ordinary rudimentary level. He had already cultivated to a very profound level. Firstly, he was a top swordsman. His sword Dao had long been unfathomable, not weaker than Wang Jiani. Therefore, he was able to cultivate the 10,000 swords return to origin with ease. Moreover, that was the effect of the Dream Leaf. This Dream Leaf was really too good, as expected of the Saint King's method. In this world, he could create opponents that he imagined. This opponent could specifically target his weakness, so he could quickly improve in a short period of time. In 3 years, although Lin Xian's cultivation did not improve, his attainments in the sword Dao had improved by leaps and bounds. It was completely different from 3 years ago. Now Lin Xian was confident that he could defeat Wang Jiani if he met him again. Moreover, he had defeated his opponent in the way of the sword. Lin Xian stood up and looked at Murong Qingqing. Murong Qingqing also had a map before, so she had collected a lot of resources before, and was now digesting them. Qingqing. Lin Xian gently called out, and Murong Qingqing opened her eyes. Brother Xian, you're awake. Lin Xian said. It's been more than 3 years. Where do you plan to go next? How long has it been? Murong Qingqing was surprised. Then I have to go back to the Kunlun Pavilion. Okay, I'll send you back. Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing, let's go. When they reached the starry sky where the Kunlun Pavilion was, Lin Xian bid farewell to Murong Qingqing. He prepared to return to Wushuang City and continue cultivating. Although he had slapped the sage's face before, he knew that it was still too difficult for him to defeat the sage with his true strength. However, he was not afraid of anyone below the sage level. However, on the way back he heard a piece of news. This news caused Lin Xian's face to darken completely. This was what Lin Xian heard in the restaurant after he landed in a world, when he was tired from flying. Those few people were obviously sages. Although they hid their auras, Lin Xian could see through them at a glance. Moreover, although these people were using an array formation to isolate their conversation, Lin Xian was still able to hear them. One of the sages said, "Did you know that something big happened recently? You mean the twin rain star?" "Yes, it's the star world of the Rain clan. After the Rain clan was destroyed, that place was divided by the big forces. However, those big forces have been coexisting peacefully, and no one inherited that world. But now it was said that there was a big fight, and many people wanted to snatch this twin rain star. Really? What's on the twin rain star? Another person was surprised. An extremely terrifying aura came from the Shuangyu One. According to the investigation of those big forces, they found that it should be a sealed sacred weapon that was about to be born. That sacred weapon was very powerful. It was at least sun level, and it might even be a Sage King level weapon. What? A Sage King level weapon appeared on the bilingual rain star? What's going on? Hearing this, the sages were shocked. Lin Xian's pupils also shrank. How is that possible? The twin rain star was his world. Has such a change happened now? Damn it, I've been in seclusion and didn't know. Moreover, a top-grade sacred weapon appeared. How could it be? He had checked before, but there was nothing. Wait, he suddenly froze, because he remembered that he had left the small 8 trigrams and the Spear of Destruction there. Could it be that there was a problem with the Great Spear of Destruction, and someone discovered it? Thinking of this, his face became cold. It seemed that he couldn't return to Wushuang City. He had to hurry to the bilingual rain star. He had to figure out what was going on. However, he didn't set off immediately. Instead, he continued to investigate the conversation of the sages. However, there was no result. Those sages didn't know what was going on either. They also heard some rumors. Lin Xian decided to set off. In the next moment, his figure flashed and left. Because he was anxious, he released a trace of his aura. The faces of the sages in the top-class VIP rooms instantly turned extremely ugly. They suddenly stood up and looked into the distance. They only saw a back view. How is that possible? That aura just now. Did you sense it? Another sage nodded. It's too scary. That's a small saint. Heavens, a small saint actually appeared in this world. Keep your voice down. That person probably heard our conversation and went to the twin rain star. These people's scalps went numb. One of them said that a small saint went to the twin rain star to snatch the Saint King's weapon? He was simply courting death if he went. Lin Xian didn't know about this. He had to hurry to the twin rain star. However, that place was quite far from here. If he were to rely on flying alone, the item would have been snatched long ago. No, he had to use the void teleportation array. And it had to be a very top-grade teleportation array. Because this time, the universe he had to cross was really too far. Boom, boom, boom. Just as he was thinking about how to get there, the universe behind him suddenly fluctuated violently. Several behemoths were flying at high speed, and the information they brought with them was abnormally terrifying. They were pulling some chariots and turned into streams of light. Bus. Seeing that the other party was heading in this direction, Lin Xian frowned slightly. However, his figure flashed and he dodged. Looking at the majestic group of beasts and troops, Lin Xian was surprised. He didn't know which faction they were from. They were actually so arrogant. It seemed that they were related to the demon city. He didn't care. It was better to find a world to ask first. Therefore, he also flew quickly. His flying speed was very fast. Not long after, he caught up with the group of beasts. The auras of the people riding the beasts in front were also very terrifying. These were all sages. One of the sages frowned. Someone is following us? Are they courting death? Men, go and kill him. Chapter 4104. Let me go. Since he dares to meddle in the affairs of the Green Dragon clan, I will make sure he dies without a burial ground. A man walked out. He was a late minor saint. His body was covered with green scales, and he had a tail. With a shift of his body, he transformed into a phantom and flew backward, quickly intercepting Lin Xian. Kid, are you from the 100 Crane clan? Or were you invited by the 100 Crane clan? How dare you follow us? You really don't know what death is. Kneel down and accept your death. What the hell? Lin Xian frowned. What 100 Crane clan? I don't know. Get out of my way. Lin Xian didn't have the mood to deal with these people. How dare you ask me to get lost? No one has ever dared to talk to me like this. Seems like I have to torture you. No matter who you are, you will die for following us secretly. As soon as he finished speaking, the man's palm instantly changed and struck out. The huge palm was covered with terrifying scales, as if it was a part of the world. It shrouded Lin Xian within. Go to hell. The man was also a genius. This strike could kill anyone below the minor saint realm. Get lost. Lin Xian roared. He waved his sleeve and a sword chi flew out. How dare you fight back? You don't know what death is. The man sneered. But soon his smile froze. Because his palm was penetrated. Not only that, there was a bloody wound in between his eyebrows. His body was split into two, and his soul was destroyed in an instant. Lin Xian retracted his palm, and continued to fly forward. After flying for a long distance, the man's body was split into two. The group in front frowned. How dare you follow us? You really don't know what death is. Do you think the 100 Crane clan can run away from the wedding? Impossible. It's your great fortune that my young master likes you. A minor saint said to the bronze chariot beside him with a smile. The bronze chariot was extraordinarily majestic. There were dragons carved on it. A figure was sitting in the chariot. She was wearing a red robe with a phoenix on it. It seemed to be a wedding dress. Moreover, the woman's head was covered with a veil. Her face couldn't be seen clearly. However, drop after drop of tears flowed out from the green veil. It was obvious that the other party was crying. However, she couldn't escape at all. She was completely sealed and couldn't even move, let alone escape. The surrounding members of the Green Flood Dragon tribe laughed coldly. But suddenly, one of them stopped laughing. What was going on? Why was that person chasing them again? Could it be that they didn't kill him? Damn it! That little saint's face was grim as he said, "Kill him." This time, 2 late-stage 5th heavenly layer experts rushed out. Kid, who sent you here? It was the same question again. Lin Xian frowned, but he ignored it. Get lost. His entire body emitted a piercingly cold sword chi. He did not stop at all, but pierced through with his sword. Just as the two of them finished speaking, their bodies were cut in half at the waist. So powerful. The demonic beasts in front of them were infuriated, and the minor saints also stood up. Damn it. Judging from his skills, he should be a minor saint. Humph. A mere little saint dares to be so arrogant in front of us? Immediately, 8 figures rose to their feet. They were all little saints. Among them, there were 2 late-stage little saints and 4 mid-stage little saints. How could the other party fight against such a lineup? Tell me who you are, and I'll give you a quick and painless death. An early little saint stepped forward and blocked their path. Get lost. Lin Xian slashed out with his sword again. You're courting death. That person roared, and a green storm was spat out from his mouth. The terrifying storm swept across heaven and earth, and the chi of Great Tao was incomparable. Asterisk puff. Asterisk Lin Xian continued flying. The little saint's head flew up. His eyes were wide open. Even until his death, he could not believe that he was killed by a single sword strike. An expert of sword Tao. The other few people's pupils shrank. Their opponent had killed a little saint with a single sword strike. This kind of strength terrified them. They attacked together. The 4 early-stage little saints attacked together. They did not hold back just in case. 4 saint items soared into the sky. The terrifying and incomparable Dharma shrouded Lin Xian. A deafening sound rang out, and the terrifying Great Tao permeated between heaven and earth. In the bronze chariot, the mysterious girl stopped crying. Although she could not move, she could still hear the scene outside. She had also heard the exclamations of these people. Even a little saint had fallen. Was it the people of her family who had come to save her? She was overjoyed. Was she finally going to be free from the devil's clutches? However, when the 4 mid-stage little saints attacked and destroyed everything, the girl was in complete despair. She was afraid that there would be another corpse. Outside the chariot, the demonic beasts revealed a hideous smile. You want to fight us? You're courting death. Let's go. The 4 little saints kept their saint items and turned around, wanting to leave. However, a cold voice came from the broken void. I don't know you guys, and we have no grudges, but you guys have tried to kill me time and time again. Do you think I'm a pushover? Since you want to kill me, you should be prepared to be killed. They were stunned when they heard the voice. Their faces became extremely ugly. They turned around abruptly, and their eyes were filled with fear. Is he still alive? This is impossible. The four of them could fight a late-stage little saint if they attacked together. How could he still be alive? Is he a late-stage little saint? Thinking of this, the four of them quickly retreated. One of the two late minor saints walked out and smashed the void in front of him with a palm strike. This time he should be dead, right? Asterisk pung pung pung. Asterisk the endless void was broken, and a figure walked out. He was not injured at all. How could this be? The late-stage little saint kept retreating. He was so scared that his body was trembling. Who is this guy? Don't you think it's too late to ask who I am now? Lin Xian was furious. These people attacked him as soon as they arrived. If he was a little weaker, he would have been dead by now. Therefore, these people could not be forgiven. Asterisk buzz asterisk Lin Xian shouted coldly. He activated the law of sword and the myriad ancestral swords. Countless sword shadows appeared on his body. Kill. With a shout, thousands of sword chi spread out in all directions. Damn it. Attack. The two little saints roared. They felt provoked. No matter how strong the opponent was, he was only one person. They had so many little saints on their side. How could they not kill him? For a moment, these people did not run away. Instead, they attacked crazily. Asterisk rumble asterisk earth-shaking sounds were heard. Various great daos intertwined in the heavens and earth. Countless screams were heard. Blood splattered and pierced through the 9 heavens. 8 little saints were slashed apart. Their eyes were popping out. So powerful? The opponent killed 8 of them with a single move. What kind of technique was this? It was too heaven-defying. One of the late-stage little saint uttered his last words. Myriad ancestral swords. Obviously, he recognized this divine ability at the end of his life. Chapter 4105. Roar, roar, roar. The 8 great sage people were dead, and the beasts roared uneasily. The others were also dumbfounded. The 8 strongest experts on their side had been killed in an instant. Hurry up and run. These people ran frantically, but as soon as they moved, their foreheads were pierced by the sword chi. Including the beasts pulling the chariot, they all fell in the void. They were all killed in an instant. None of them were alive. The corpses floated in the air, and blood filled the air. What happened? What the hell is going on? In the bronze chariot, the girl was completely stunned. She could already smell the stench of blood outside. Who could exterminate so many experts of the Green Flood Dragon clan? It must be an extremely terrifying expert. It didn't seem to be someone from their tribe. It must be someone passing by. These people from the Green Dragon tribe had angered this person. Thinking of this, she didn't even dare to breathe. After Lin Xian killed these people, he wanted to leave, but he frowned. He turned around and looked behind him. He could clearly feel the presence of someone in the bronze chariot. With a wave of his hand, he split the bronze chariot in half. Boom, boom, boom. The chariot was split in half, and the girl's veil was also split open. She suddenly opened her eyes. She was completely stunned. The scene around her, the mountains of corpses and the sea of blood, terrified her. At this moment, there were still tears on her face. Sealed? It didn't seem to be a group. Lin Xian waved his hand and released the seal on the girl. Then he said, "All right, they are all dead. You can leave now." Then he turned around and wanted to leave. The girl behind was stunned. He didn't kill her, and he even released her seal in an instant. It was really unbelievable. Seeing that he was about to leave, she exclaimed. Lin Xian stopped in front and asked, "Is there anything else? May I know my benefactor's name? I will repay my benefactor in the future." Bai Qianqian was very grateful. She thought that she would fall into the abyss and live a life worse than death. She didn't expect that someone would save her on the way, although this person did it unintentionally. But after all, he helped her escape from the demon's clutches. Forget about the name. Lin Xian shook his head. If he said his name, it would probably scare the girl. However, as for repaying a debt of gratitude, don't tell me that I really have something to ask you. Benefactor, please say it. As long as I can do it, I will definitely do it, Bai Qianqian said excitedly. If he asked her to give herself to him now, she would agree without hesitation. The reason for that was because the person in front of him looked very young and very handsome. More importantly, he was powerful. Even a late minor saint expert was killed by him in an instant. This person might very well be a holy venerate. Hence, Bai Qianqian felt very nervous. Do you know where there are large-scale teleportation arrays in the nearby star realms? It was the kind of teleportation array that could cross many starry skies. Lin Xian had originally just asked casually, because he felt that this kind of teleportation array was usually only found in places like large factions. It would be very difficult to find one elsewhere. However, Bai Qianqian nodded her head vigorously. Benefactor, I know. You know? Lin Xian was stunned. In the next moment, she revealed a smile. Take me there. With a wave of his hand, a huge sword light enveloped Bai Qianqian before disappearing into the void. During the flight, Lin Xian understood that there really was a world nearby. It had such a large-scale teleportation array. This world didn't belong to a certain holy city, but to the ancient race. The ancient 10,000 races were all terrifyingly powerful races with extremely powerful bloodlines. Hence, it wasn't a problem for these people to own a world and have a super teleportation array. This world was called Flying Star, which was Lin Xian's target this time. As for the woman he saved, Lin Xian had a certain understanding of her. Her name was Bai Qianqian, and she was from the ancient White Crane race. This time, she was forced to marry someone from the Green Flood Dragon race, which was stronger than the White Crane race. Hence, Bai Qianqian became a sacrifice and went to marry the young master of the Green Flood Dragon race. Originally, Bai Qianqian resisted with her life, but who would have thought that she would be sealed in an instant? She couldn't die even if she wanted to. Fortunately, Lin Xian had stepped in and saved her by accident. Otherwise, one could only imagine her fate in the future. Green Flood Dragon race. White Crane race. Lin Xian's eyes flickered. They were all from the ancient race. Bai Qianqian asked for Lin Xian's name. Lin Xian thought for a moment and said, "Teach me how to comprehend the sword." He was currently comprehending the sword Dao, so he casually came up with a name. Moreover, Lin Xian used the dragon-shaped sword energy to form a mask. He wore it on his face. He didn't want to attract attention this time, so he hid his identity and changed his name. Big Brother Wu Jian, the flying star is in front of us. Bai Qianqian pointed at a huge star in front of them. Lin Xian nodded. As expected of the ancient race, this star was much bigger than the others. Soon, they entered the clouds and entered the flying star. Lin Xian asked, "How can I activate that super teleportation array?" Bai Qianqian said that the city lord of this world had to agree. As for the city lord in Primordial City, there would be a few battles there. As long as one could win 81 battles there in a row, they could make a request to the city lord. Big Brother Wu Jian, you're so strong, so it shouldn't be a problem. He knew it wouldn't be so easy to use the teleportation array. However, it wouldn't be a problem if it was just a challenge. Next, the two of them set off for Immemorial City. Immemorial City was very famous in the Star Realm. It could even be said to be the holy land of this world. It wasn't just the people of this world. The geniuses of the nearby Star Realms would run to Immemorial City when they had nothing to do. After all, this place had a huge attraction. If one could win 81 battles in a row, any request could be fulfilled. Of course, if one wanted to live forever, they would probably be beaten out. If one wanted to ask for something, they had to ask for something that Immemorial City could accept. For example, some precious cultivation techniques, mystical abilities, natural treasures, or beauties. Even some experts and geniuses of the Holy City would come. After all, some people wanted to improve through battle, and this kind of challenge was the most suitable. Of course, most of them were ancient race experts. These ancient race people had powerful bloodlines and talents. They couldn't be underestimated. As they flew, they finally saw a huge object on the horizon. It was Immemorial City. How was this a city? It was even bigger than a country. On the majestic city walls, there were mottled swords and sabers. It had a primordial aura, and it had been standing for tens of thousands of years. Perhaps the other party had already witnessed the arrival and fall of countless geniuses. Friends in front, quickly land. Don't you know that you can't fly into Immemorial City? At this moment, a voice came from behind. Hearing this, Lin Xian stopped and looked at Bai Qianqian. Bai Qianqian said, "This is my first time here too." "Is this your first time here?" the person behind asked. It was a war chariot with 3 people standing on it. 2 men and a woman. The 3 of them sized up Lin Xian, and Bai Qianqian curiously. When they saw Lin Xian, they frowned slightly. They couldn't see his face clearly because he was wearing a mask. Moreover, they couldn't see his cultivation level clearly. Soon they gave up. The 2 men looked at Bai Qianqian with a glint in their eyes. What a beautiful woman. And from the looks of it, her bloodline was extraordinary. Which race is this fairy from? The red-robed man took the lead and walked over. Chapter 4106. I am from the 100 Crane clan. This is Brother Wu Jian. Qianqian said. So it was Fairy Bai. The red-robed man smiled and greeted her. My name is Hu Yuan. I am from the Fire Vine clan. My 2 friends are brother and sister. They are from the Mountain Pangolin clan. The black-robed man said. My name is Chuan Shui. The black-robed woman smiled and said. My name is Dong Ling. The 2 men looked at Bai Qianqian from the beginning to the end. They didn't even look at Lin Xian. At this moment, Dong Ling smiled and said. She didn't know which clan he was from. Bai Qianqian said that this was Brother Wu Jian. He was a very powerful swordsman. A human martial artist? The 3 of them were surprised. A hint of disdain appeared in the eyes of Hu Yuan and Dong Ling, but they didn't say anything. Instead, they said that since it was their first time here, why not come with them? They didn't wait for Lin Xian to answer and directly led the way. Brother Wu Dao. Bai Qianqian asked for Lin Xian's opinion. Lin Xian shrugged. It would be great if there was someone to lead the way. Next, they were unimpeded and soon arrived at the city. As soon as they entered the ancient city, they felt a tsunami-like roar. There was a terrifying law in front of them. Bai Qianqian's face was slightly pale. This power really shocked her. Lin Xian was expressionless. He had long heard that there would be a challenge here, so he wasn't too surprised. How is it? Is it your first time here? Are you shocked by this scene? When you arrive, you will be even more shocked. Hu Yuan laughed in front. In his opinion, these 2 people were scared silly. Of course, he only saw Bai Qianqian's expression and didn't see Lin Xian's. Because Lin Xian was wearing a mask, he didn't think that this human in front of him wouldn't be afraid. Not long after, they saw one arena after another in front of them. They were fighting at the same time. Countless cultivators were watching and cheering in the surroundings. These arenas were extraordinary. They were passed down from the ancient race and had extremely strong defensive arrays on them. They could prevent energy and protect the surrounding spectators. However, the aura they emitted still shocked countless people. Kueimo! Kueimo! Many people in the surroundings were shouting crazily. Soon, their voices became uniform and shook the 9 heavens. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes and looked over. In the largest arena in the middle, the outcome of the battle had already been decided. A man in black armor easily defeated the enemy. At this moment he was waving his hand and accepting the cheers of these people. Seeing this, Hu Yuan smiled. Did you guys know that his name is Kueimo and he is very powerful? He had already won 50 consecutive victories, and was very close to 81 consecutive victories. Was he that powerful? Bai Qianqian opened her mouth wide. That's natural. Hu Yuan smiled as if he knew everything. It was not easy to win 81 matches in a row. Even winning 70 matches in a row was very difficult. It was said that no one had been able to win 81 matches in a row for several hundred years. Really? Bai Qianqian exclaimed. Although she knew the legend of the primeval city, she didn't know the specifics. Of course, it was very difficult to win 81 matches in a row. It was probably impossible. For Kueimo to be able to win 50 matches in a row was already very heaven-defying. Bai Qianqian nodded, but then she smiled. Others might not be able to do it, but Brother Wu Jian could definitely do it. What? Hu Yuan was stunned. Was it the masked man next to him? He could win 81 matches in a row? What a joke. The pangolin siblings also laughed. They were laughing at Bai Qianqian's ignorance. However, Bai Qianqian didn't know. She looked at Lin Xian and said excitedly, Brother Wu Jian, when are you going to go on stage? Lin Xian said, "Wait first. Let's look at the rules here first." Since the other party said that no one has been able to succeed for several hundred years, there must be something wrong. This meant that there must be some secret here. Otherwise, it was impossible that no one had succeeded. He had to figure it out first before making a move. He didn't want to waste any more time. As for the flies beside him, he completely ignored them. They were just clowns and couldn't enter his eyes. If they really dared to provoke him, he would just kill them with a sword. At this moment, countless gazes were looking at Kuei Mo. The armor on Kuei Mo's body released a terrifying aura as he laughed. "Come, continue. I must break the curse of not being able to win consecutively." Buzz, buzz, buzz. At this moment, the ground trembled. A mountain-like figure jumped up and then landed fiercely. His skin was very white, but there was a single horn on his huge head. This was a rhinoceros saint. His aura was very strong. He had already reached the middle stage. It was useless. It was over. The rhinoceros voice was very terrifying. He directly attacked. This was a demon saint with boundless strength. He could destroy heaven and earth at any time. Everyone was worried for Kuei Mo. However, after 3 moves everyone screamed. Because after 3 weeks, the rhinoceros saint was defeated. Countless screams and shouts sounded. Everyone went crazy for the power. Bai Qianqian was also stunned. This Kuei Mo was so powerful. Lin Xian's eyes flickered. He was even more powerful than the ordinary powerhouses of the holy city. But that was it. He was still not his match. It seemed that he could easily win 50 matches in a row. After that, he probably wouldn't even ask before 70 matches. However, after 70 matches, there would probably be a problem. But he still didn't know what it was. The rhinoceros saint's shattered body healed, and he left the arena dejectedly. Not long after, another powerhouse challenged Kuei Mo, wanting to snipe his chances of winning. However, many people were defeated. This scene surprised Bai Qianqian even more. Even Huiyuan and the other 2 exclaimed in surprise. As expected of a terrifying expert. "Sorry to disturb you." At this moment, a voice sounded. Everyone turned to look at the forest. Xian discovered that it was an old man who was about a meter tall. He had blue skin and pointed ears. His eyes were also blue. It seemed that he wasn't human. He was also one of the 10,000 ancient races. Huiyuan and the others were originally unhappy. What kind of status did they have to be disturbed? However, when he saw the jade token on the old man's waist, he was stunned. What was the matter with this old senior? Huiyuan revealed an even more genial smile. The old man waved his hand and a blue light screen appeared, forming a seal. It enveloped the entire space and then disappeared. Although it couldn't be seen from the outside, Lin Xian knew that this was an isolation array formation. Now, their conversation could not be overheard by anyone other than them. He didn't expect this old man to be an array formation expert. He didn't know what this old fellow wanted to say. He actually made it so mysterious. After the old man set up the array formation, he smiled and said, "Are you interested in helping me?" "What help?" Bai Qianqian was surprised. Huiyuan and the other 2 didn't say anything. The blue-skinned old man said, "Help us fight and snipe Kuei Mo's chances of winning." "Ah, isn't that cheating?" Bai Qianqian exclaimed. Huiyuan and the other 2's expressions changed. "Fairy Bai, don't talk nonsense." The old man didn't get angry. He chuckled. "How could it be considered cheating? We just want to make the challenge more interesting. If it wasn't difficult, then our immemorial ancient city wouldn't be so popular." Sure enough, Huiyuan and the other 2 nodded. It seemed that they knew about this rule. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. No wonder. The further they went, the more experts they would find to snipe. In addition, it was a tag team battle. There would probably be one round that they would lose. Especially the last few rounds, they would probably be very terrifying experts. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.